Hey, everybody. Welcome to Comic Book Curation. I am a very medicated Polly, and I'm slightly confused, so I take no responsibility for anything I may say or do during this stream.
Convenient.
And joining me, as always, is Quiz, Inquisitor. Buddy,
Quiz,
how you doing?
Inquisitor.
Yeah.
I'm doing all right.
Big guy.
You gonna go all Rob Schneider on us? Quiz, the quiz man.
It was it's a joke from Riff Tracks, actually. One of the riffers said that because some guy in the film says, "Hey, there he is." And he goes, "Yeah, whenever anyone says, 'Hey, there he is,' or calls you big guy, it just means you can't remember your name."
Yeah.
And rounding out our triumphant of awesome is Jack from Bad Comic Reviews. Jack, how the fuck are you?
Doing pretty good. I'm 2 away from 400 subscribers.
Nice. On which channel? On Bad Comic Reviews?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's tough to keep track, man. You got a lot of channels.
They do.
So, yeah, here we are. Yeah.
So you just want to jump right into it about 007 losing his balls?
Oh, yeah. Why don't we...
Well, let's talk about the image in the thumbnail first for the copy.
Oh, yeah, we got a thumbnail.
Hi, chat.
Hello, chat. The thumbnail is... there it is. It's a Bond lady in silhouette in front of the... What's that?
Silhouette.
It's a silhouette, yes. And so, yeah, so there she is. That's the best I could do, guys. I'm sorry. I'm really drugged, and I did this like an hour ago, and it took me a lot longer to do than it should. I found a silhouette lady with a gun and then put her in front of the James Bond deal, and then there you go.
Yeah, looks good enough.
Yeah, I mean, it gets the point across, and the reason why I wanted to do that is I thought I'm going to find like a sexy Bond lady from comic books, because there's been a whole bunch of James Bond comic books over the years, but I was like, I'm not going to start leafing through them to find one. I'll like forget that I've got a stream starting soon and just like start reading James Bond in a daze, you know.
Are they good? I mean, I've never heard of anyone recommending a Bond comic book.
Well, yeah.
Well,
did what were you gonna say, Jack?
Did you hear the news about the new writing team on there?
I did. Why don't we cover that story right now?
That's a good idea. Thank you,
Okay.
Quiz, for that smooth transition.
So you're worried that James Bond comic books aren't going to be good. Is that right, Quiz? Or yeah, your Quiz.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so it's in the Heat Vision section of the Hollywood Reporter. So you know this is going to be great, right? James Bond comic book relaunch sets new creative team.
Oh, what first are we've got to post now?
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Vita Aliyah and Danny Lore, both non-binary creators of color.
Get fucked! Get fucked!
First sentence. Quiz didn't even make it past the first sentence.
Get fucked, Variety!
The Hollywood Reporter, but it's understandable mistake.
Doesn't matter. They're both garbage.
Yeah, no, same vibe, definitely. Yeah, so there it is. Non-binary creators of color, or nibcocks, are taking charge of a character almost infamously represented of white, straight, male privilege. Announced ahead of the San Diego Comic-Con, Dynamite Entertainment will relaunch its James Bond comic book property at the end of this year with an ongoing series with an all-new creative team. The new series, simply titled James Bond, was announced via a redacted press release by Dynamite. Oh, I see what you did, because he's a spy.
Yeah, it was as dad joke as you think.
The creative team will be Vita Alla and Danny Lore as writers, with Eric Gapster on interior art and Justice League artist Jim Chung on covers. Ayla is known as a known quantity.
What?
Ayla is a known quantity as a writer for comic fans, having worked both at Marvel and DC, because they're as desperate for representation diversity as Dynamite seems to be. They're known for their creator-owned series, The Wilds, that nobody knows of but them and other people like our publication looking to promote them because they're nibcocks. As well, Black as fuck. The series that only gets talked about because its creator has social media contacts that likes having the proverbial black friend. And Valiant Entertainment.
It's fine. I can't be racist. I have a black friend.
That's right. And they promote black-owned property such as Black as Fuck, and so they can say, "See, I'm woke." Because it doesn't get more woke than Black as Fuck. I don't think so. Let's see, where was I? And they launched Vault Comics Queen of Bad Dreams. Oh, that sounds really entertaining. And has worked with an editor in speculative prose fiction. Jack, what is that?
Speculative prose fiction usually means garbage that nobody ever reads because it makes no sense and it's boring.
But like, okay, but what is it? Like, I mean, fair enough. That's the way it usually turns out. But what does that mean? I don't even grasp that description.
Okay, well, prose obviously is written.
Right.
But speculative means they're trying out something sort of experimental. Usually some marginalized aspect of writing, like I want to write a sci-fi story about a wheelchair-bound gay black woman. That would be considered speculative fiction.
Oh.
Because it's outside of the mainstream, not because it's stupid. It just ends up being stupid.
Right.
Or boring. It could be really wordy and boring. That also ends up being called speculative or experimental fiction.
Notably, both are non-binary creators of color or nibcocks being placed in charge of a character almost infamously representative of white straight male privilege, says you, Hollywood Reporter. I don't know if anyone else sees it that way. I see him as a idealized spy of a country that has a lot of straight white males in it. There's nothing shocking about that. You're the one who made it weird. So everyone, let's clap for them making something that wasn't weird very weird. Well done.
Yeah, golf claps. Woo!
Dynamite initially launched in 2015 with Warren Ellis and Jason Masters, far too straight, white, and male, as the creative team. Notably, the logo on their initial release emphasized the 007 classification. Well, it's not a classification. Anyway, for Bond. With everything bar the creative team of the new series under wraps, with everything bar the creative team, I mean, I get what you meant, but fuck off. Yeah. It's unclear, much like this sentence, whether or not the absence of the code name in the new series has anything to do with the reports that Captain Marvel actor Lashana Lynch will play the new non-Bond 007 in the next movie series. James Bond, this comic book from this pathetically desperate for media notoriety company, will launch in December. So yeah, guys, mark that on your calendars. I'm sure this is something you're going to be very much interested in. I mean, nibcocks are going to bring a whole new voice to the character of James Bond.
Yes.
Don't you agree?
Yes.
Okay.
It'll be a whole new garbage voice. Yes.
Yes.
Get the scoops first. Sign up for Heat Vision's weekly newsletter. Oh, that's something I desperately want to do.
Like Heat Vision is just, that's just so bad. Like as the section on Hollywood Reporter that they're talking about. It's like new hot things. We've got our eye out on the Hollywood scene and we're going to be the first to report it. Yeah.
Because we got the heat in our vision.
Yeah. The inside track. You want to know what's going on with the beautiful people in the Hollywood Hills? Fuck. No.
I don't.
Maybe it's because their vision is so woke, it's on fire.
Right. Well, here's CBR. Let's fucking CBR, man. You guys suck balls. I know I say that every week, but you do. Report. Captain Marvel star Lashana Lynch will be the next 007 in Bond number 25. A new report indicates that Bond 25 will introduce Captain Marvel's token character to play another token character in another famous franchise to be a token. Don't disagree with us or you're a racist. Oh my God, we're so desperate for notoriety because our ideas are lame. A source speaking to the Daily Mail said the movie would start with Daniel Craig's James Bond character retired in Jamaica when M calls him for help. Quote, there's a pivotal scene at the start of the film where M says, come in 007, and in walks Lashana, who is black, beautiful, and a woman, the source says. It's a popcorn dropping moment. Not anymore. Bond is still Bond, but he's been replaced as 007 by this stunning woman. Stunning and brave, you mean?
When was the last time you met someone as bold or as beautiful as Caitlyn Jenner?
Right? Like, just to pick some cis woman. Do you know how many trans women there are out there not being heard, marginalized?
How
And to
dare
hire
they?
I mean, she was born with a vagina. I mean, that just screams privilege.
Well, it's even worse. I mean, this could have been a trans man playing 007.
Oh,
Then you
yeah.
would have a vagina and identify as a man. It's the best of both worlds. Well, you know what bothers me, though, is they're not going to end this movie the way I want it to, which is she screws up really bad and real James Bond has to go save her.
Yeah.
Because that would be fitting to the series.
I don't know. What is there to say about it? People are like, this is stupid. Yeah, it is. Oh, it's Ghostbusters 2016 all over again. Yeah, it is.
Oh, this will be a bigger flop than that, I think, if they do this, because they're going to anger a lot of longtime fans. And if there's one thing I've learned over the years, is that James Bond fans are fanatics. They do not like. That's why that original Casino Royale with, what was his name, Weatherby or something, George Lazenby, Weatherby something.
Oh, you mean
that movie is like considered non-existent.
The comedic one?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that wasn't Lazenby. I forget the actor. That was Lazenby was on Her Majesty's Secret Service. But I know the comedy Casino Royale that you mean. Yeah. That's anathema. You're right. You're right. Oh man, they consider the one non-Aeon Productions film not a legitimate Bond. I mean, it's
exactly.
It's a remake of Thunderball. It's starring Sean Connery. Like, how much more Bond do you want? If not made by the proper studio, you're not wrong. The fans are very touchy about these things, but whatever. It'll be, man, it's a huge production. They're going to promote the shit out of it. They're going to put it in every fucking theater. People are going to see it. It's going to make money, and they're going to say, see, it's not going to be a smashing success, but it's a Bond film, so it's going to be enough of a success as he passes the torch. People are showing up because they know Daniel Craig's in it. Nobody cares that James Bond is now a black woman, except for the people over at CBR taking the money behind the scenes to promote this crap with she's beautiful and stunning and wonderful. And so are the writers who came up with this idea.
The fake outrage worked with Black Panther. They think it'll work every time now because that's how marketing works. They're behind the times. They're out of touch, and they sit in an office and come up with this crap. Let me grab a Streamlabs real quick.
All right.
Thank you for the donation, James Colley. Nibcocks or cock gobblers? I'm guessing the latter due to wokeness. Thank you, James. And yeah, probably.
Yeah, Chaos Eve feels marginalized and her voice isn't heard. So, like, I mean,
she's talking?
No, her voice, like, she's not, her voice in the sense of speaking her truth,
Oh, she's talking?
At some point she has been. She's probably cursing your name right now. Yeah.
Oh, she definitely is.
Oh, she's giving you the middle finger. But yeah, I don't really care because I'm not going to see this movie. Yeah. I like my James Bond to be a white male power fantasy. I don't care if Idris Elba's playing Bond, but it's still a power fantasy for boys and young men. And yeah, he's British. Get somebody British. Is this woman even British? I doubt it.
Well, James Bond isn't British. He's Scottish.
Yeah, same thing. They're all on that little island together.
Oh, okay.
They're all ruled by the same evil king. Fuck you, King George.
Yes.
So somebody else got fired by Disney for the things they said.
It wasn't me. I don't work
Twitter.
It was Thanos. Disney fires Thanos after uncovering controversial statements. Immediately upon uncovering controversial statements made by the Mad Titan, Disney fired genocidal maniac Thanos, pulling in the intergalactic aggressor from all future films in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The Marvel villain reportedly made statements in support of killing billions of people amid deranged, deluded rants about fate, destiny, and balance. One old comment he posted on his Twitter account read, "I know what it's like to lose, to feel so depressed that you're right, yet to fail nonetheless. It's frightening, turns my legs to jelly. I ask you, to what end? Dread it. Run away from it. Destiny arrives all the same. And that's the kind of thing that'll... Another haunting, maniacal rant on the internet message board read, with the 6 stones, I could snap my fingers and they would all cease to exist. I call that mercy. Yeah, that's the kind of thing you get fired for.
Are you sure this isn't Mark Wade?
I mean,
I could see Mark Wade wanting to kill billions. He's,
yeah,
in one of his more manic moments.
yeah, especially like all the people that are being mean to him on Twitter. Oh man.
Yeah. I thought the actor was fired. Sorry, Matt Winter. No, not everything could be a Deadly Sis issue, story, whatever. So, oh yeah, did you guys go to the comic shop this week?
I did not.
Why not?
I haven't been. I need to.
Lots of new stuff came out this week. Some good, some bad. More bad than good, of course. But
yeah,
usually, yeah.
It's 2019. What do you?
Current year.
It's current year. There you go.
God damn it.
No, I didn't make it either. I'm gonna probably go on Friday or Saturday. I got a bunch of stuff to pick up.
So I'll give you guys the choice because I'm medicated and indecisive. Do you want to talk about... Oh, there's no good options here. Holy shit. You want to talk about Monica Rial, Scarlett Johansson, or Queer Spider-Man?
I'm going to choose the last option and go with that Doomsday Clock 11 was delayed till September.
What? Oh, Jesus Christ. I didn't know that. Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm dead serious.
Oh, my God.
And I am pissed.
Oh, that is such a delay. Oh,
who do they think they are? Robert Kirkman?
I mean,
right?
For those of you who don't know, the series Doomsday Clock, where they're introducing the Watchmen characters into the DC universe, is suffered a long series of delays from issue to issue, and God damn, again, man, at the end. Like what I don't even understand what the hell. Like they always seem to have a different reason too. That's what makes me laugh. It's never the same cause, and it's like, okay.
Here, I'll read you the little update. Updated cool. July 17th, 2019. This is on Newsarama. DC has informed retailers that Doomsday Clock 11 has been rescheduled for September 4th release. The publisher did not provide a reason for the delay. However, the issue has been postponed several times since its original May 22nd solicited release.
That's funny.
Yeah, and this is an update to an article that said it had been delayed till August 28th. So they pushed it back till September 4th, which is what, only like a week. But come on, you guys.
BG said that Doomsday Clock is the polydub of comics.
Not true.
No, because it eventually shows up.
Yeah, I eventually show up. It's usually Jack or Quiz that are responsible for it falling behind. So clearly it's not me. And I never promise a time that I'm going to show up and don't show up. I say sometime after 10. It always is. See, what they should have done is said sometime after May. See?
Yeah, you would think, but...
It's like when someone asks me for directions, I say it's on Earth. You'll find it.
Don't ever say that to somebody for directions. So they'll hate you.
And guess what? They always do.
They will find you.
So what was your choice again?
That was my choice, was to complain about Doomsday Clock.
Oh. I remember that now. Fuck. Yeah, for those of you tuning in, I'm usually much more energetic and angry and full of spit and vinegar and so forth. But pseudoephedrine and Dramamine are a hell of a drug combo, man. Especially when combined with energy drinks, which don't really make you peppy. They just stop you from like narcoleptically falling asleep, standing up. Anyway. Here, look at this. You remember Scarlett Johansson in the
And her
push
amazing...
back against PC business. Remember that?
No.
Scarlett Johansson walks back comments about political correctness and casting decisions. I think she doesn't really. That's kind of a disingenuous, well, not accurate title. This is from Bounding.
Bounding. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, they do have some quotes from it originally, like from the original thing that she said. It's because she's dealt with a lot of that, like the so-called whitewashing around Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah.
Plus that movie she was going to be in where she was going to play a trans character.
Right.
Yeah, the trans man.
It's come up a bunch of times for her, right? So she kind of like pushes back on it in this interview with this far off magazine no one's ever heard of. Anyway, let's just read the article. We'll find out. Last week, Avengers Endgame actress Scarlett Johansson turned heads all over Twitter. The 4% of the population that nobody listens to are really, really mad.
No.
Turned heads with her comments about the political correctness and casting decisions. She has walked back on those comments, claiming they were taken out of context. She further stated that she supports diversity in film. The comments came from a story by the Daily Mail that cited an interview with As If magazine. In the story, the actress said, quote, "I should be allowed to play any person or any tree or any animal," end quote. But it seemed that the British publication did not release the entire statement. Last Saturday, the actress released her full statement. In fact, was this. Now, you see what I mean? It's like, wait a minute, they clipped out the statement and something that followed would have changed the character of it. That's not really her walking back the comment.
Yeah.
Like, if she actually is in fact really, this is the full statement of what I said. Is there any proof of that, or did you tack this stuff on afterwards? Do you know what I mean? Because of the angry 4% of Twitter that everybody listens to all the time. I realize most people are on Twitter just saying hi to like friends and family and like sending out pictures of the lunch they had, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, is it people are angry as fuck? Yeah, go look at Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's tweets. Like, she gets like 100 and 125,000 likes. Yeah, that's the angry 4% of Twitter right there. They all follow her.
Oh, Frosted Glass made a good point. She can't just play any role. Who's she going to whitewash next? Ariel?
So, last Saturday, she released her full statement, and it is this. Quote, "In an ideal world, any actor should be able to play anybody, and art in all of its forms should be immune to political correctness. I recognize that in reality, there is a widespread discrepancy amongst the industry that favors Caucasian cisgender actors, and that every actor has not been given the same opportunity that I have been privileged to." Okay, well, you ended your sentence in a preposition. Bad move, Scarlett. That really does feel like a tacked on statement, but I mean, let's take her at her word that actually they clipped that off. Is anyone surprised that the Daily Mail clipped something out of context for the sake of, read our article? Because everybody went and fucking read it and clicked on it, so it worked. It's not like they were wrong for trying it because it worked. Mm-hmm. God forbid Scarlett Johansson have balls. Well, I mean, she
didn't get that role for it.
Well, right. And she did say she was cisgendered, so she obviously doesn't have balls. But I'm just making the point that, like, you weren't wrong in what you said, Scarlett. Shouldn't an actor is a pretender who's pretending to be somebody they're not by definition? And it's like, if I don't know, I don't really think she was wrong. What she was saying was really milquetoast. It was bland. It's not that deep of a statement. Yeah. I recognize that there's widespread discrepancy amongst my industry that favors Caucasian cisgender white actors. What industry do you think she's describing?
Harvey Weinstein's followers? I don't know.
Well, I'd say Hollywood. She's certainly not a Bollywood actress. She's not a Hong Kong actress, Hong Kong studio actress. She's a Hollywood actress.
I think actress is a very generous term.
I just like it. There's nothing like, okay, like it favors white cis people. Okay, Scarlett, you're in Hollywood, which is in America, which is largely white cis people. That's the majority. That's the extreme majority, especially when it comes to cis. especially when it comes to skin color. I realize the Democrats are trying to change that, but that is the way that it is. I mean, it's not shocking. Like, I don't get it. Like, who would in their right mind ever accuse Bollywood, which is massive, by the way? I don't think people realize just how big Bollywood is globally.
Bollywood is massive, yeah.
Yeah, like it's a fucking juggernaut, man.
Yeah, there's even Bollywood movies on Netflix.
Yeah, who complains about the lack of diversity in Bollywood films? Oh, it's all Indian and Pakistani actresses and actors.
I'm going to now.
Well, Hong Kong film is huge. They have a huge film industry in Hong Kong. Does anyone complain that all the actors are speaking Cantonese?
Well, they're going to get a strongly worded letter that there's not enough Jack inside of some Chinese chicks if they don't knock it off.
And I get the argument because I've pointed this out to people before. There's nothing odd about that. Seeing mostly white actors, that would be representative. They're like, well, it's that, America's supposed to be better than that. Oh, so diversity. So what you're saying is diversity is for white people. No, you're misinterpreting my words. No, I think that's exactly what you're saying.
Why has it become a dirty word to be, or a dirty thing to be white? Why has it become so like, because to me, that's racist as fuck.
Of course it is.
We're going to call these the John Pigeon laws. Where you have to have so many, you have to eliminate so many white people because we don't want them getting all full of themselves again.
Getting all uppity.
Yeah.
Okay. When it comes to diversity in casting, this isn't Scarlett's first rodeo. Yeah, and she doesn't want to hear it again, which is why she got with her PR people and her manager to deal with this, in my opinion. In fact, in 2 or more recent non-Avengers film, Ghost in the Shell and Rub and Tug, she has had to deal with fierce criticism related to casting from the 4% of Twitter. She was criticized by those within the transgendered community for playing a transgender person in the film when she herself is cis. Okay, well, KSE is part of the transgender community. I don't remember her complaining. So is Platty. Don't remember her complaining. It's the 4% of angry Twitter. Stop listening to these fucking people.
Well, what's the worst part is that movie is not going to get made now because she brought star power and awareness to it. And now that she's dropped out, you haven't heard of that movie since.
Yeah, and you won't.
Yeah, because it's never going to get made.
Now. Yeah,
you know what the budget was of Ghost in the Shell? You know how expensive it would be to make a film like that? Hundreds of millions. Like, I'm going to guess somewhere between 150 and 200 million to make that film. Then there's double that for promotion.
Yeah, but that
do you think they're going to dump that money in if somebody like Scarlett Johansson's not at the head of it?
Yeah.
Are you insane?
And that movie,
of course not.
The movie was already almost done being made when the controversy jumped up. So
of course.
That's why Rub and Tug, you're not going to hear about that movie getting made. If it does, in the highly unlikely event, it'll end up on like straight to video, Netflix or Siffy type special. That'll be it. It'll just vanish off the face of the earth.
KSE says, I was glad she was bringing star power to that movie. Yeah, that, like I said, that movie, well, in terms of Ghost in the Shell, it exists because Scarlett Johansson decided to sign on to it. Not her only, somebody at her level, a little bit below it, a little bit above it, whatever. It would have had to have been someone with massive star power to be able to do that. That's all there is to it. Stop reading more into it than that. Fuck off. Again, angry 4% of Twitter. Over what? Diversity? Your notion of representation? Fuck it. And now the transgender community won't get the Rub and Tug film. If it happens, it's going to be a super minor film that no one's going to be willing, no studio is going to be willing to invest hundreds of millions of dollars in to make and promote. So if it does get made, it's going to be a club jazz affair. It's going to be real small.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
BG just said they officially canceled the film.
There you go.
So yeah, it's foolish. I mean, who are you really helping here? You have all these people that worked hard to get the movie made and to get funding and all that around to get Scarlett Johansson. They just are out of jobs. So you've put a bunch of people out of work. That's going to breed a lot of resentment toward the trans community, if nothing else. And that is not helping the cause. But sitting there whining because somebody of that star caliber signed onto a movie that they don't fit the bill perfectly for. Boo fucking who? Well, stop listening to outrage mobs.
it's the whole notion is patently ridiculous. The fact that, you know, someone who's paid to act cannot act like something they are not. You mean to tell me that every single voice actor that has played a race that they aren't is no longer allowed to? I mean, the whole idea is absurd, and if people keep, you know, kowtowing to it, the industry is going to implode in on itself, because no one is going to be allowed to do anything and act in any sort of way. I mean, here, what was it? Elwyn just brought in Bryan Cranston getting shit for being disabled in the upside.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Let me grab a Streamlabs real quick. My notifications aren't working. Sorry, guys. Thank you, Manic, for the $5. No message. Appreciate it.
Oh man, we got done in again on the fucking recommends with the stream.
Yeah.
Jumping through impossible shapes into water. Learn colors with the fruit song. Follow the leader game plus nursery rhymes and kid songs. What is it with this? I get this after Young 59's videos. I get this after ours. The recommends that come up are just...
some of mine too. It's because if you do anything comic book related, it ends up, the algorithm somehow picks it up the same way it used to do the Spider-Man and Elsa ones.
Yep.
Right.
So that it assumes it's a kid's video. Hi, kids.
Yeah.
We're going to learn some new words today.
Yeah.
Mommy, what does fuck mean?
What the nibcock?
You and your nibcocks.
All of them are now like that. It's much more readable. I'm assuming that's what they wanted me to do. They're continually writing people of color, POCs, POC. I'm assuming they're always writing POC, like
POC, yeah.
Like lig butts, LGBT.
Oh, okay.
That's a word they're writing. I see it all over the place now. POCs and lig butts. They must be pretty important.
Put your lig butts in the pox, or you get your pox in my lig butts.
Yeah, no, it's people talking about the marginalized pox and lig butts. So I can only assume that these are really hard done by groups, and it's only right to try your best to pronounce it instead of spelling it out like some kind of, white imperialist not wanting to say the word. Did you? I have a friend that's BLACK. No, we'll pronounce the word. We're not afraid of them here. Nibcocks, pox, lig butts. We're woke.
I, for one, don't think pox are discriminated against because they're in all the major grocery stores I go to. You always see them with their little fruit flavored, like the strawberry ones and the chocolate ones.
I was going to say, if you've got pox in your grocery store, Jack, have you been getting into some blankets that you shouldn't be getting into?
No, not POX. No, Pocky sticks.
That's not pox. That's pockies.
Isn't that plural, like Pakis from Pakistan?
Jesus Christ.
You open the door, dude. You should know better.
Disavow.
You should know better.
Oh. Okay, so what was I doing?
I don't know. Something.
Yeah, I've totally lost track of what I was supposed to be talking about here.
Brown Kobo has a pox on their lig butts.
Let's talk about this thing with stuff. It's got what was I saying? Oh, here. This Warhammer 40K live action TV show.
Okay.
So tell me something there, Inquisitor. I've been led to believe that your name has something to do with this so-called Warhammer.
It very well could, yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go by, well, not that.
Is this an Inquisitor here, or is this the Emperor?
No, that is an Inquisitor. I'll go by this article here, because this is actually coming from the Warhammer community site.
Oh yeah, I'm reading this on Gizmodo because I wanted to see what
Fucked Gizmodo.
We can only hope that this is full of lig butts and nibtows.
Yeah, right.
I thought Gizmodo would be entertaining.
Well, nibtows are the next codex that's going to be coming out. But yeah, this is actually kind of cool news. I mean, is the fact that and this is comic book related. We can definitely tie this in, right? But this is Inquisitor.
Eisenhorn.
His name is Gregor Eisenhorn.
Gregor.
Yes. He is. It was originally 3 novels written by Dan Abnett, and Dan Abnett, as you guys have watching us would know, Jack and I are pretty big fans of his writing. He's a really good comic author. He's also a really good novel author, and apparently there are talks of it being a TV show. They're going to develop a TV show based around Inquisitor Gregor Eisenhorn, which is, to me, I'm cautiously optimistic, right? But the one thing it does say is, what does in development mean? In development means pretty much there's this big old infographic that they came up with on the Warhammer community site. It just means that no production has started on it yet.
Right.
Well,
right.
First they got to change a few things. He's a little too white and cis male for them.
I know that's not going to happen. See, that's the thing, is that if those sorts of things are getting brought up right here where it says characters, no story is complete without a dazzling cast of characters, who's in and who's out. If they have any characters from the novel, people like me are going to crucify them. So they can't do that. And considering that it is based on a book, they have to remain true to the book, or people are going to abandon it. And that's way too costly for Games Workshop to just, sink all of that money into. I mean, remember, they're a game company first and foremost. And if they, invest the money and then it just turns out to be a massive flop, they're going to be down a lot in their stock prices.
Well, I read the rules for Age of Sigmar, and they are apparently not ashamed of just turning out crap.
Age of Sigmar is pretty awful, but you know what? Fantasy Battle is still there. You can still be, you can still play Fantasy Battle. So fuck Age of Sigmar.
Well, I have no doubt this will be turned very social justice-y very quickly. The Emperor will be a woman, and he will be a woman of color. And Gregor there will become Matilda, who is wheelchair bound and uses power armor to walk around.
But it's funny you say that.
This show.
You say that, but if they really wanted to do that, they could use this to be a stepping stone for the sequel. Dan Abnett has written 6 books based around the Inquisitor series here. The second one is Gideon Ravener, and Gideon Ravener is literally wheelchair bound. So if they wanted to get into the whole disabled thing, they could do that. But I don't think that's the thing is, people are talking about, multinational corporations and all sorts of shit like that about kowtowing to social justice. I don't think that they will for this, because it loses the integrity of the original product.
You have such wide-eyed, starry hope that it's so inspiring. And when you get crushed and it turns out to be that he is a Muslim of peace, and I am just going to feel bad for you and then laugh for a few minutes quietly.
All I'm saying, man, is that if they do, it will be dead on arrival, and it won't even make it out of this whole development process. It won't get into production. It won't.
You see that starship there?
Yeah.
That what are they called? What's the name of the game? Battlefleet. Battlefleet ship. Yeah, see, that is a battle fleet of peace. And what they do is they just ram right into other ships.
Yeah, so long as they're Xenos, it's perfectly fine.
Because these guys are imperialist, and we have to change that.
No.
There's going to be a lot of things changed. Chaos Gods, that seems very anti-diversity to me. So we're going to have to change that. The Space Elves, they seem oppressed. They're fine. But orcs, I don't know. It's kind of racist.
What? They're Cockney.
Yeah, as long as they don't talk like a protected ethnicity, it's fine.
They're going to look like English people, and it's going to be perfectly fine.
No, you're forgetting the Lord of the Rings controversy where it was determined that orcs are black people.
What?
You never heard that?
No, I didn't.
Oh yeah, that was a big thing a couple years ago.
Well-
So yeah, so they're gonna have to change that. So no more so-called greenskins. How racist is
How
that?
racist is the greenskins? God. No, I see. Here's the thing. Here's a quote here from Dan Abnett himself about this whole thing. Gregor Eisenhorn is a relentless force in the dark future of the Warhammer universe, a destroyer of demons and a purger of heretics, implacable, powerful, and dedicated. But the appeal to me was from the moment I started writing him was his complexity. He is not the simple, ruthless hero he appears to be. He is, his battle with the warp leads him into the dark places and forces him to question his duty, his understanding of the Imperium, and his own identity. Now, see, here's the thing. This would be a red flag if you hadn't actually known what he's talking about. What he means by that, no, okay, it's mainly because of the whole fact that, you know, social justice has kind of clouded a lot of our minds, right? When you think identity, what do you think, right? You think, you know, the fact that he's a straight cis male, right? White cis male. No, his identity as an inquisitor, as someone who is supposed to uphold the laws of the Imperium. That is the identity in question. Because, I mean, one of the things that it says right up here, heretic, traitor, rogue, radical, all of these things could be technically used to describe Gideon Ravener. Or not Gideon, sorry, Gideon's the other one. Gregor Eisenhorn. Because he eventually uses a pact with a demon to help in his pursuit of, you know, ending a cult that would have ended the Imperium. He uses chaos against chaos. So that's the bit where he's talking about his identity. So it's, I have high, you know, as much as Polly is cautiously optimistic about Hawks and Pox, I'm cautiously optimistic about this.
Polly, do you want to tell him, or do I have to tell him that there's no Santa Claus either?
Now, here's the thing.
Well, I mean,
Polly,
man, it'll be like 3 years from now before you even hear that they decided to not continue with it and shelve the idea.
Yeah. Well, not only that, is that also I've got to ask one very important question here, since, you know, you've threatened to revoke my nerd cred card based around this. What are your thoughts on every season of X-Files after the second?
They were really good.
Okay. Well, you have the person who's responsible for that as the showrunner for this.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have to get rid of that bigot.
Frank Spotnitz. He is the writer and producer of the X-Files for every season. After...
Oh yeah, I remember the name from the credits. That's a really positive thing for them that they got that guy. But then again, Mark Waid was good at one time.
Yes,
so, you know,
so, I don't know. It's I like I said, I am cautiously optimistic about it. I think if because I've noticed some people bringing up the fact that, you know, Space Marines, they could never do Space Marines in Warhammer for a live action TV show.
This is about Inquisitors, not Space Marines. Inquisitors are regular human beings, not post-human, genetically engineered super soldiers.
Okay, that's good. But this is comic book curation, not Warhammer ASMR. Back up.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm just saying that some people bringing that kind of shit up, and you know, the level of special effects that they can pull off now, it's doable. This sort of thing is doable now. It's not relegated to only animating that you can do something like this. So with this sort of thing coming in, I think it's actually a really good idea. And they got, you know, an amazing comic book author and novelist who has the pedigree of Warhammer, like Dan Abnett, to come in and use one of his properties to make this. This is, in my opinion, a good idea. I sincerely hope that they don't fuck it up. And if they do fuck it up, it doesn't make it to production to fuck it up. So you have my cautious optimism, Games Workshop. Don't misplace it.
They will betray you.
No, they won't.
Yes, because then they want $50 for a new set of little plastic things that cost them a dime.
Hey, do you want to hear something about something that's in development that's actually going to be awesome? Or, well, that I have high hopes for. It's going to be awesome.
Is it Asteroid Collision 2020?
You mean Trump's reelection? I'm sure that's how people are thinking about it. No, I didn't even know that this was a thing that was talked about and deals were signed like a year ago, and the development began. And it's good because then I wasn't, waiting for news and not hearing about it. You know what I mean? Like, because it's gonna be 3 years for hear anything about 40K kind of thing. Usagi Yojimbo, the animated series. I didn't hear about this until recently. There's Stan Sakai, the creator and artist and writer of Usagi Yojimbo. And yeah, he tweeted this out saying, we're really happy. Everything is coming along very, very nicely. That is not the traditional way of drawing Usagi off to the right there in that graphic, but I actually dig it. I think it looks cool. This could be really cool. Some of the original stories were touting it as a children's show. So it was going to be very Thundercats Roar kind of bullshit. And I was like, oh no. And I remember the episodes of that I watched of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the animated series that had Usagi Yojimbo in it. And the voice that they gave him alone was awful. Like it was like, I don't know. Think of like the most stereotypically over harsh, I am Usagi, I am Japanese warrior. Like, that's what he sounded like. It was terrible. And it's like, I'm not exactly sure what I would want Usagi's voice to sound like. I've never given it any thought. It's a really weird question, actually. I don't know.
That just brought me into an interesting line of thought here. I need to bring up something here real quick. Mainly because we were talking about it, and it stands to reason there. Is this a case of blackwashing? Just saying. Do you know what the voice actor of this character looks like?
I'm assuming he's black from what you just said.
Hang on. I will pull it up. Do you know who the actor Phil Lamar is?
I actually do know who Phil Lamar is.
Yeah, because that's the voice actor for Samurai Jack. Just saying. So is Samurai Jack blackwashing? I mean, if we're gonna get all bent out of shape about people of the wrong race portraying the wrong race, oh my God, that's so offensive. Phil Lamar is Samurai Jack. That should have gone to a Japanese person. How dare you?
So there's a black guy playing. Is he white?
He's Japanese.
Japanese? Okay,
Yeah.
so there's a black guy playing a Japanese guy. That is both cultural appropriation and racist.
I don't get it. What is the problem? What is the big problem that these people seem to have? Why are they so dedicated and focused on race that it just ruins things for them? It must be
it's the angry 4%
world.
of Twitter. The majority of people aren't like that. It's like if you talk to the majority of white people out there, it's like, do you feel guilty for being white? No, this is some New York, LA, Washington, DC bullshit. It's all in media, man. It's the angry 4% on Twitter that's willing to be pushed around by them because they're like-minded. It isn't most people.
I know people like this that are part of the Twitter outrage mob. I know them in real life. And they are very unhappy, miserable people. And they want you to be unhappy and miserable too. Because their lives suck and they don't try very hard to fix anything. It should just be given to them. So they want everybody else to be as miserable as they are. And that means that you can't have fun. If they see people that are happy, they complain about it. They're all Daria from the 1990s cartoon Daria. They're all those kind of people. They walk around and go, oh, look at those happy people over there. Oh my God, can you believe it? That's what they are. And now, as for this cartoon, I think it's got a lot of potential because Usagi Yojimbo's a cool character. I hope the art style is more like the Batman animated series,
Yeah.
but make it a little, more mature. You can aim it at like 12 or 13-year-olds. That's fine. I think aiming it at really young kids is a big mistake, but
I don't get it. Like, because something is aimed for younger kids, and I mean, like, 10 to 14 doesn't mean that it needs to be childish. I think the creators of a lot of these shows are underestimating their audience, like children. It's like you're actually talking down to these kids. You realize that, right? Like, animated Batman was like the original animated series was not unpopular with 10 to 14-year-olds. Why would it? It looks cool. The characters are doing cool things. Come on.
yeah.
No, we have to make it full of colors. I think you're more thinking about like the 6-year-old audience, guys.
But these people don't have kids. So they're aiming it at what they think is the mental age of children. So they're not around kids most of the time because those ugly little parasites are freeloading off their parents. So they just assume that all children are special needs kids.
That actually reminds me of something. I said that I went by the comic shop today, and I did, and it was for a very specific reason, because Usagi Yojimbo #2 from IDW came out today, so I was like, not going to miss that. So yeah, there it is. I went and grabbed it. Really happy about that.
And that's why you've been asking us if we went to the comic shop all
Well,
day.
I went, and I was wondering, did you guys go? And I'm really excited to, like, it's a new Usagi series, so of course I'm happy with it. It's it's absolutely worth the cover price all the way. Like, fuck yeah, here, take my money. Like, it's cool. But
did you pick up the?
Did I pick up?
Oh, finish your thought.
Well, I was going to go on to a different thing. So.
Oh, were you able to pick up the Blade Runner 2019?
No, I didn't even see it. What the hell?
Yeah,
what is this?
Issue 1 just came out today.
Sweet.
I ordered it, so it should be up there waiting for me. But I'll probably review it next week. Let me see if I can find the previews link for it real quick.
Cool. Yeah, I don't. For those of you that are longtime listeners of Comic Book Curation, we talked about that months ago, that the series was under development and it was already, the first few issues were already written, and then they were handing the art off, and then the first issue came out today apparently, and I missed it. Oh well, I can always still go grab it, but that's fucking awesome.
It's always another reason to go out and get it.
Yeah. No, I grabbed another comic today out of hilarity sake. In addition, I grabbed 4 different things today. Because I'm broke, so I only grabbed 4 things because I'm broke. But do you guys remember Silver Surfer Black?
Yes.
Yeah. So #2 came out.
And you wasted money.
Is it just as bad?
Well, I will graphically answer your question, Quiz. It's a fair question.
Oh, that's a yes.
What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that?
So yes,
Polly,
the answer is an emphatic yes. It is just as bad.
Polly, present yourself so when we freak out, it's not jumping to our.
I am presenting myself, but I will click on and off in case it's jumping around. But there it is. Yeah, this is the first splash page in the series. I mean, it's just so heavy duty, right? Let's go back. There's the cover. And when I saw it, I'm like, I don't know. It's this is how they get you. Because Silver Surfer is an awesome character. I love the character. And the story is not that bad. It's just the art is. Your boy Zach talked about Trad Moore, the artist who did this, as an artist's artist. The only people who like his art are other artists that look at it and go, "Oh my God, it's like so creative and interesting and different and weird." Yeah, because this is totally the way Galactus looks. No, don't you understand? It's Trad's interpretation. See, he's willing to step outside the norm, and I don't know. It's like
Impressionists are hacks. This is coming from an artist.
Okay. First of all, let's go back to that cover picture for a second, if you would, Polly. Now, take a good look at that. If you rotate that 180 degrees, So he's a homeless person pooping in the park.
Yeah.
He's in the fetal.
Picture.
He's in the fetal position, bro.
No, he's pooping.
And this background isn't drawn. What
No,
fucking
that's a photograph.
That's a photo.
yeah, like, I mean, it's so, the whole fucking thing, man. You know, like I said, Richard Meyer, your boy Zach was right. I can absolutely see artists looking at this and just thinking, oh wow, that's really interesting, because they're all about, like, I mean, look at this. This isn't interesting. I mean, what Ryan Walters says, do his abs have abs? Yes.
Yeah, and depending on how much drugs you do, maybe it looks cool, but yeah, I don't like it. I think it's hideous. I think it looks like a child drew it.
Like, look at this. Like, it's just like, I'm going to make use of this. Like, this is somebody stretching out to do it. It's like, it's like reading Taoist works, or not so much Taoist. It's like when absurdism came in, and you watch like the really bad German films that are just, they're meant to be obscure. They're meant to be weird. They're meant to smash conventions. Okay. But the only people who want to see them are directors. I'm not making an argument for mediocrity of creativity. I'm not. It's just no one's going to like this. It doesn't need to look like some of my favorite artists for me to like it. I'm willing to step outside the bounds of what I traditionally like to see some weird shit, but this is just ugly. It's offensive to your fucking eyes.
Oh, real quick, Manic, 7 minutes ago, donated $5. Thank you.
Like, I mean, I guess this is supposed to be the big evil creature. I guess if that was the only creature that was drawn like that, that would be pretty frightening.
I mean, that's a fairly interesting design, but at the same time, my problem with Impressionist art is the fact that you always lose what the artist was intending to draw, right? Because there's always, like, the whole idea of the fact that there's something there for you to interpret means that there's something there that's not being depicted. If you have to try and interpret something, it's not there to be shown. It's there for you to make it of your own sort of will, right? And so with that, you can see the vague outlines and the shape of a human, and that's kind of cool. But I mean, like, some of the other forced perspectives and the massive weird shapes and repeating patterns,
Yeah.
You lose a lot of the idea of what you're trying to convey, and you muddy it down with interpretive bullshit. Yeah, it's always been that way with Impressionist art. It's terrible.
But okay, I mean, it's like, you know, Elwin saying, like, isn't that the point though? Yeah, it's clearly art that's meant to be like the trad is clearly determined to be himself. And okay, but how can I say this? There's only a small market for stuff like that, very small market. And when you're doing it with Silver Surfer, that is like taking a well-known property, like something that hasn't been made into a movie. Like, I don't know, like, let's say The Shadow. Like, the last time that was made into a film was in the 90s, right? Let's take the character of the Shadow, Lamont Cranston, and doing something like weird and art housey where it's all like wacky like this. And the only references that people can come up with it are drugs and, oh, the person must have been high, or I must be high, or whatever, because it's so fucking weird. Why would you do that with a major property expecting success? That's small club jazz shit, man. It's meant to be small time because you're not going to have a big audience for it. Doing it with Silver Surfer, you're just counting on people like me who love the character and making us angry at the company that made this happen.
Yeah.
No, this should have been a graphic novel that was released to small fanfare and made specifically for a niche audience. If you took 90% of these images and made them either album covers or like posters with that like black fuzzy stuff and some weird colors that would shine under a black light, you probably would be okay. But it's not designed, it's not comic book art.
No, you wouldn't be okay because it would only attract one kind of fucking buyer, and that's going to be the washed out hippie who doesn't have any money anyway.
Yeah,
the only sort of people that like it.
Anyway, this isn't for a comic book reader. This is for the washed out hippies.
You know what? You know what was a big step out for Silver Surfer in terms of style, because you had Kirby drawing Surfer, and you kind of like set the style of them that people are still working off of. Stan Lee did a brilliant thing. Brings in Mobius for an original graphic novel. I remember when I first read it, it took me a little bit to warm up to the art.
The
Like
vampire?
it was what?
Mobius the vampire?
No, the artist.
The artist.
Oh, okay.
It took me a little bit to warm up to it because it's so different. But it's good. It's interesting. It's applicable to Silver Surfer's world. Galactus looked different. Doesn't matter. It still worked. So I'm not married to a style. Just because I dig Rick Leonardi doesn't mean everything needs to be drawn by Leonardi. And Mobius is a really whacked out style compared to American comic book artists. He's French and it's very different and so on. A million little details in every little corner that he likes drawing. Okay, great. I'm not against experimentation with artists for a different interpretation of a given series. That's like even with Silver Surfer. But this is fucking not worth my money, man. This is you guys. Like, we dig this guy, so let's put him forward. Like, no.
See, here's the major difference between Mobius and something like that, right? I'm on Mobius's website. Right? This is the amazing, is the purveyor of twisted and something art. Is amazing art of Mobius.
Okay.
Jean Girard.
Mm-hmm.
I guess is his real name. But I mean, even with this, there's so much minutia in it. It's just absolutely chock full. It's busy as fuck.
Yes, it is. Very busy
There's
style.
so much shit happening in it. But you know what I can tell? I can tell that this is a person. I can tell 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 that these are like either cats or rabbits or like a combination of the two. You know, I can tell that this is a sort of weird sort of lupine creature with a, anteater face. I can tell what everything is. You know what I couldn't do with that Silver Surfer image?
Huh.
Tell what almost any of it was.
Well, Mobius is a much better artist to begin with, so.
Oh, he absolutely is. Here, I brought up.
But that's why I'm saying Tradmore is not a comic book artist. He's more of a fine artist. He does these sort of abstract things.
Yeah, one-off commissions and individual original pieces of art.
Yeah, that's what I'm
poster
saying.
stuff. I hear what you're saying. I get exactly.
It would end up on an album cover.
Yeah, like this is Mobius's Silver Surfer graphic novel called Parable. And like, yeah, this is not like traditional Marvel Comics art. Even with the wacky lettering style that they picked, it's quite different. But it works. Like I said, it took me just look at the cover. Look at this guy and his fucking hatching, man. Yeah. But it's sweet. Like it's very, very memorable. I saw this one guy, man, me and my girl, we were out at this like art party and we saw this one guy named Tradmore and his shit was so way out, man. It's like the new thing. We got to bring him on. Oh yeah, everyone's going to love that. All the 14-year-old kids love things that are going on at Manhattan art parties.
You know why Tradmore has work, right? He went to school with Donny Cates.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Donny Cates is the writer of that series, for those of you who don't know. That explains a fucking lot. You hooked your fucking friend up, even though his style's completely inapplicable to the genre. Fuck off. Okay, so while we're talking about bad art,
that party that you were just imitating there, Polly, I could smell the patchouli oil through my speakers.
This is like lots of berets in the room, lots of Technicolor hair, lots of hipster glasses. Everyone's a hipster in one form or another. Lots of ponytails on guys.
Lots of framed tickets of Rent on Broadway.
Yes. Yeah. You haven't seen Hamilton 7 times? What are you, some kind of non-New Yorker?
All right. Well, the Silver Surfer Black issue 1, according to Comic-Con, shipped 129,490 issues.
Oh my God.
It was number 3 for that month.
It's a number 1. I don't doubt it. They hyped it 6 months before and then put ads in every comic about it. And people thought that was just going to be the cover. When we talked about it, if you are a longtime listener, remember we brought up the cover and said, I hope the interior art isn't like this. Yeah. And it's like, wow. That is not a demonstration of how effective Tradmore's art can be for comic books, I would offer. That's an expression of Motherfucker's been waiting on Silver Surfer. And it's like, new Surfer, great. Like, if you'll notice, they even use the last Silver Surfer logo for the cover, Silver Surfer Black. That's the way that they did that with Symbiote Spider-Man. It's the same logo text as boom, and it's the same logo text as Amazing Spider-Man. They just put symbiote above it, the way Web of used to be above. It's a combination Web of Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man's logos, and that's to harken back to the era in which it's based. And of course, for the nostalgia sales, that's Silver Surfer written like that. That's the original logo icon, except they put black in the bottom. This is all just. This was a trap for people like me, and I got snapped in it. And I bought the second one too.
Sucker.
Yeah. They straight suckered me. Absolutely. This is the fucking game, man. And shipped. There's the other thing. It's like, we're really promoting. Did the comic book stores all sell it, or did people leaf through the first 3-4 pages and go, nah, man, you can keep that?
Yeah.
There are no, for those of you who don't know, there are no available sales figures for comics. There's only shipping figures available.
Yeah, we don't know how many of those were over ships.
Well, you don't know how many were purchased to the store and then never sold from the store.
Yeah, but Marvel probably padded the sales a little by being like, here's an extra 20 copies.
Yeah. And I say they were like, this is our big promotion this month. You buy 12 of our line, we'll throw in an extra 5 issues of this for free.
Like there is a whole set of things that could be described in that way. If you talk to people that are directors like Martin Scorsese, I am a big fan of his films. If you talk to Martin Scorsese and he has come up with a list of like his top 25 favorite films, I've never even heard of 3/4 of them. Well, of course, he's a director. He watches all the movies. So like little known Italian films, this weirdo Hong Kong film, this Japanese film, few American films that are really art house stuff. You would expect that because he's a director. He's going to like little weird things that inspire him. You know what I mean? But he doesn't end up making movies like that. Do you understand? You see what I'm saying? Like that guy, Trad Moore, only other artists like him. It's just not comic book work. Since we're in the middle of like criticizing aesthetics here, I came across this, and it's older, but I don't care. Let's make fun of it.
Okay.
There's the best poster of the year.
Yeah, we tried to show this on our one lost episode of Comic Book Curation, the one that Hangouts shit out on us. Where we couldn't do pitches. Yeah, you were like, let's see the poster, and I tried showing it, but I couldn't show you it. I couldn't show you the Technicolor awfulness.
Well, at that time, it wasn't just, at that time it was the poster. Now it's wins best poster of the year.
What?
Yes, it did. This poster, chat, best poster of the year. Based on whose taste? A bunch of graphic design people. Do you see the point I'm getting at?
To be fair, it looks very 80s.
No, I think it looks 70s.
If anything, yeah. Like this is like, I don't know what to call it.
60s, 70s as fuck, dude. That's disco as shit.
And when you read like the stuff in it, like Ellen Lupton, graphic designer and author of How Posters Work, on exactly that Wonder Woman 1984 poster. Why? What? Graphic designer and author of How Posters Work on exactly that Wonder Woman 1984 poster was such a massive hit.
Exactly that 1980 was such a massive hit.
Oh, they're missing the on why exactly that the Wonder Woman 1984 poster was such a massive hit.
Well, no, that Wonder Woman 1984 poster is such a massive hit. Was such a massive hit. No, it's grammatically correct. It's just
I still claim it's awkward.
It's awkward. I'm not going to lie about that. It's a clunky sentence. But
why? And such a massive hit with who? What are you talking about? That's like saying, I don't know. Tire spikes are a massive hit. They get a big reaction from cars that drive over them. I wouldn't call them popular.
Well, no, they are popular.
Yeah, well, okay, it's like
dun.
pepper spray. I mean, you're never going to get a reaction out of it. Like, it'll always be someone freaking out. Yeah, because it burns your fucking eyes. It's people aren't enjoying it. That's the same thing. Did people notice this? Yeah, they noticed it. It's an assault on your retina. The lack of text. There's no logo or text in the background. The W shapes. I think it's because it's early in the promotion and it's a teaser poster. So for now, it's a bunch of other bullshit that graphic design artists talk like they know things about, but don't really have a clue. I'm artsy. The curious texture. The Mylar, a type of shiny plastic polyester film for you retards not in graphic design who don't know that. Background. Who doesn't know what fucking Mylar is?
Wait.
Be more
What's
condescending.
Mylar? What's supposed to be Mylar?
The fact that it's minorly reflective-esque-ish, whatever. It's a little disco.
Is?
No, it's a lot disco.
Yeah, but what is? That's the thing, is that you don't know exactly what that is that's supposed to be around her that's mildly reflective and has all of the clown vomit all over it.
It's a W.
So, yeah, there's a bunch of W's. It's supposed to look like the Wonder Woman insignia.
Okay, yes, W's, but what is it? Is it a screen? Is it
that is the LSD vision that you're looking at her through during whatever bank robbery is being portrayed? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense, and we don't get a good look at Wonder Woman because we're distracted by the splash of color.
Yeah.
I think what they were going for is that the splash of color is supposed to draw your eye in toward Wonder Woman, but it doesn't work. It's a hideous poster.
It is hideous.
It's terrible.
The vibrant vibe, the color palette is really strong, breaking the expectation of a black and white poster. It's the rainbow, the full color spectrum, full of autism. It's definitely
they're
saying
on the spectrum, all right.
Yeah, it's definitely saying that this is a colorful era and it's going to be a colorful movie. That's the big message of the poster. Is it? You're off in your own little graphic design world where you talk about colors and textures all day long. Yeah. You're lost. This is hideous.
You're reading into something that definitely isn't there. And the only thing that I can say about this that I can unequivocally say is that I kind of like the design for Wonder Woman's costume, but it's
so do I. It doesn't need to be black and white. Like where's the one where it says the rising goddess? This green element at the bottom makes you think of a landscape. What? No, it didn't. I didn't. Not even. And by the way, whatever graphic designer designed this circled red, the green at the bottom. You mean the green over here?
Yeah.
Behind her is a sunset, and Wonder Woman is emerging like the Earth. From Earth like Gaia. Wonder Woman is emerging from the Earth like Gaia. Okay, chat. Let me ask you something. Is that what you got off of this? That you see her emerging as Earth Gaia because there's some green on the two sides? If that was your intent, you failed, yo.
Emerging like Earth Gaia.
Matt of Winter asked, when was this made? In 2018 as the teaser for Wonder Woman 1984, the movie that's coming out in 2020. I'm really looking forward to it because the last one was excellent. And I've said that a bunch of times, and I'm looking forward to this one too. But this is awful. It just works so good off of the Trad Moore thing to go off on this too. Like, what the fuck, guys?
Yeah. No, it's a terrible poster. They could have done so much better to outline Wonder Woman's new costume design. They didn't need to make it look disco as fuck. It's Wonder Woman 1984, not 1964.
In 1964, only in like blues rock bands, psychedelic bands that were playing at college campuses would you ever see art like that.
Well, I was gonna say, man, with that poster, I could definitely taste my empty cup does taste as sweet as the fudge. That's all I gotta say.
What?
My empty cup tastes as sweet as the fudge.
Is that a lyric?
Yes.
From where?
I believe it's the Beatles, isn't it?
Jesus. Okay, I'll take your word for it. Jack, you've been dethroned as the confusing old man of the group.
He's making some doing drugs references.
All right.
My references aren't confusing to everyone, just you two.
I'm exerting my executive privilege here. We're going to talk about Star Trek for a hot minute. Quentin Tarantino says he's willing to end his career directing a Star Trek movie. You know, I didn't read this article because I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean? And because I wanted to find out what it meant, sort of like live. So let's find out. Quentin Tarantino is one of the best directors in Hollywood, known directors in Hollywood. What many don't know is that he's stated in the past that he will end his career after his 10th film. Good. That means that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, being number 9, the Star Trek production he's been tied to might be where he ends his directing career. All right. The director opened up about the possibility of a loophole during an interview with Cinema Blend Real Blend podcast. All right.
Cinema Blend Real Blend.
That's what it said. In it, Tarantino talks about J.J. Abrams' intrigue at his Star Trek script as well. He also mentioned his commitment to the Star Trek film has yet to be set in stone, but he makes it clear he's not attempting to create a loophole for a loophole's sake. Oh, Jesus. There's like a... Why what?
Why'd they put a picture of B. Arthur on there, though?
Yeah, he does. Yeah. He's looking old, man. It's
old. He looks like an old lesbian. He looks terrible.
Yeah. Doesn't matter. He's got a lot of money. He's fine.
I'm just wondering if Captain Kirk is going to hide a pocket watch up his ass.
Probably. Hey, can I get a Streamlabs real quick?
Of course.
Thank you, Fatty057. Silver Surfer Black, BLAQ. I got suckered on 2 issues. I didn't make it past page 3 on the first issue. Dude, I understand that completely. We've all done it. Thanks for the donation, man.
Dude. Okay. I don't know if any of you guys chat included have ever seen Quentin Tarantino in an interview. He's more of a fucking space cadet than I am on pseudoephedrine. Let's read his stuff here. I guess I do have a loophole. The idea was to throw a loophole into it, which would be, I guess Star Trek doesn't count. I can do Star Trek, but naturally I would end on an original. But the idea of doing 10 isn't to come up with a loophole. I actually think if I was going to do Star Trek, I should commit to it. It's my last movie. There should be nothing left-handed about it. I don't know if I'm going to do that, but it might happen. Oh.
What were you talking about? What the fuck were you trying to say?
I don't think.
And who's going to suck Uhura's toes in that movie? You know it's going to happen.
During the podcast, Tarantino further explains that if he chooses to end his career via Star Trek, it could be a means to highlight what his career could have been had he taken a different approach. Oh, Jesus. He's going to start talking about himself overall here. This should be fun. Quote, There is another thought process going on where it's like, yes, could be my original. On the other hand, maybe that could show a different career I could have had. Whereas maybe Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is my last original. I'm not saying this is the case, but maybe this is my last original. And Star Trek or any other thing, a book or something like this, is the career I could have had if I wasn't just writing all the time. Writing always originals. Maybe I could have had a different career if I looked to other people's scripts, or if I wanted to find a book to be inspired by and do an adaptation of. You already have. What are you talking about? You did an adaptation of Rum Punch by Elmore Leonard. That's Foxy Brown.
He's ripped off tons of stuff. I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, like you keep talking about original stuff, like original screenplays. Yeah, I'm going to buy that, but you haven't had an original idea in your career, man. What are you talking about? Anyway, that would have been a different.
He thinks he has.
Yeah.
I mean, look at how many times he said originals.
Yeah. Maybe that could have been a different career if I'd looked at other people's scripts, or if I wanted to find a book to be inspired by. I already read that. That would have been a different career. And maybe that could have been fun to explore on the 10th movie. I don't know. I mean, I'm making all this up as I go along. No kidding. But those are two different ways I could look at it. That article was fucking useless. I don't blame you bounding into comics. It's fair enough, but shit. Yeah, who fucking cares?
Quentin Tarantino is borderline retarded. I'm surprised he was able to string together that much like word salad.
Yeah,
just saying.
Enough. Yeah.
So, I don't like Quentin Tarantino. I think that's pretty obvious.
Quentin Tarantino.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it before. My favorite Tarantino films are the first three, and upon multiple reviewings, no offense to anybody, but Pulp Fiction for me personally doesn't have the rewatchability that Reservoir Dogs and Foxy Brown both have.
Yeah, because those two movies were ripped off.
Or excuse me, see, I keep calling it Foxy Brown because I'm thinking of the blaxploitation film, Jackie Brown. Jesus, sorry, Jack. What were you saying?
No, because those movies were ripped off of better movies.
Yeah, I mean,
like if you haven't seen City on Fire, it's a great Asian martial arts film or crime noir.
Yeah,
and it's better done.
I never have seen it. Is it really good?
I liked it. It's very low budget because it's from Asia, but
sure,
it's the same story.
I had actually already seen Lady Snowblood before I saw Kill Bill Volume 1. And it was like, this is Lady Snowblood. This is an Akira Kurosawa film. Yeah. He just ripped him off badly. Like, a woman is shot on the day of her wedding and left for dead. She recovers and goes after individually all of the people that were responsible for doing that to her. She has a final fight in a backyard in a Japanese garden when the snow is slowly falling. Precisely Kill Bill.
Yeah, he just rips off movies that he saw 10 years before, and he forgets that he saw it as a movie, and he just steals it.
And then has heard to think that he's doing an original piece.
Well, I mean, the way you say it is like he forgets that he saw that. Did he? Did he though?
Probably. But I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and think that he did.
Why?
I don't know. I think his movies are highly overrated. They're okay.
No, they're
not. Well, if you've never seen the originals that he ripped off or you're unaware of that fact, maybe, but I think he's highly overrated.
The one that I think is the most underrated is Jackie Brown, because it's a modern blaxploitation film taken out of the 70s and placed in the 90s, but it's Elmore Leonard who wrote it. You've never read a Elmore Leonard novel. One, you should give it a crack because they're great. The dialogue just crackles. It's fucking awesome. And so, but it's really obvious that he's, the scenery and the general vibe of it is right out of Foxy Brown. He even cast Pam Grier in the starring role again and called it Jackie Brown. I mean, the homage of it is nothing he's trying to hide, if you know what I mean. I like American gangster films, so I'm going to make one. I like Akira Kurosawa's Japanese swordplay films, so I'm going to make two. I really like blaxploitation films, so I'm going to make one. I really like westerns, so there's Hateful Eight, which is a bad ripoff of what was the movie where all the fucking prisoners were being taken out to? It's Hateful Eight. I won't go into describing it. Instead of just there being one prisoner, there's 7 of them, and they're all. Brad Jones did a review of it once. Quiz.
Mm-hmm.
It's an old, lesser known western. And that's the plot to Hateful Eight.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough about Tarantino. Elmore Leonard rocks.
Talk about another person that needs a "don't do that, that's dumb" editor.
Well, oh God, oh dude, you fucking nailed it. Not only like that, but needs an editor for the film that's not him.
Yeah.
When you're watching, as I did, Hateful Eight in the theater, it's brutal how long some scenes drag. And I remember Sinatra saying, it's meant to set a mood, et cetera, et cetera. And it's like, you can set a mood a lot more efficiently than that guy is. This is what can be used as a prime example of an overindulgent film director. It's self-indulgent. What does that mean? Watch Hateful Eight and you'll understand. Well, I really dig this scene, so I'm going to have it drag on for 4 minutes because I just love what's going on right now on the screen.
Well, those long, drawn-out scenes are seen as artsy by a lot of the pseudo-intellectual crowds. That's why a lot of directors do it.
I mean, Mike Parlett says he liked Hateful Eight. Fair enough. I get a lot of pushback when I say one of my favorite Tarantino films. It's either Reservoir Dogs or Jackie Brown, and people are like, you're crazy. Jackie Brown was a throwaway movie. It was a waste of time. And I'm like, No, it's the only time when the characters have believable motivations in my mind. Like where the motivations of characters in Pulp Fiction are not meant to be realistic. It's meant to be pulpy, obviously, right? Like it's meant to be over the top.
Yeah.
I mean, if you love heist films and shit, yeah, Jackie Brown's awesome. So anyway, let's talk about.
I've never seen a good Tarantino movie, and I've seen almost all of Tarantino's movies.
You didn't even like the Grindhouse films?
No, I didn't. I wanted to too, because I like Mike Parlett said here, he's a sucker for Kurt Russell. I like Kurt Russell too, but oh my god, the Grindhouse movies were terrible.
But see, we can trade places here. I never even saw them. I was like, that just no, thank you, and haven't ever seen them.
You don't need to. They're terrible.
It was like the lady has a gun for a leg, and I'm like, yeah, no thanks.
Wait, isn't that also what's her nuts? Crazy McGowan. Speed lady, Rose McGowan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Mike Parlett brings up an excellent retort, but 70 millimeter poly. Fair enough. I can see the point. That was fucking awesome. Yes, it was. But I mean, Quentin Tarantino's not responsible for 70 millimeter. He's just got the power to make something like that happen. So do a lot of other directors, and I wish they had his balls to release stuff in 70 millimeter. I mean, holy fuck, it was sick. Loved it.
Kevin Smith is an infinitely better director.
The
worst
Tarantino?
Kevin Smith movie is better than the best Quentin Tarantino movie.
No.
Yes.
You went Tusk, too far. You went
Tusk
too far.
is better than Reservoir Dogs.
I haven't even seen Tusk, and I know that's not true. I just
I'm actually with Quiz on this one because I hated Reservoir Dogs.
What do you mean? Tim Roth is dying in a pool of his own blood the whole film, and it's got Harvey Keitel. That's get you 50% of the way to win right there.
Yeah, I thought it was overrated, and it was.
I would rather watch a man turn into a walrus.
Yeah, pretty much.
Matt Winter says 70 millimeter as in bullet caliber. No, as in film aperture size. Well, no, hold on. Film stock size. Excuse me. That it's really, really wide screen. There's the best way to say it. And theaters haven't really done that in a long time. IMAX is the biggest thing, and that's bigger overall and taller, right? Aspect ratios is a weird hole you don't want to fall down, man. Never find your way through the end of it. But let's get back to talking about comic books.
Oh my god, that's so accurate, Delahaste. Saw the Grindhouse films the night before it premiered, and I worked at a theater. Rose McGowan with a gun for a leg made me sitting there thinking, waiting for her to put her foot in her mouth. I agree.
Well, yeah, the point of the over-the-top Grindhouse films is the Grindhouse movies were over-the-top and goofy like that in the 70s. That's what they were paying homage to.
Yeah.
So I get what they were going for. So I don't have a problem with the woman with the gun for a leg, because I've seen Battle Beyond the Stars, and it's terrible. But that's the type of thing they were going for.
All right. Well, you know what? The next two Tarantino films, Pulp Fiction and Jackie Brown, have over Reservoir Dogs. There's no Michael Madsen in it. People talk about bad actors who can't act. Jesus fucking Christ. I remember watching an interview with Tim Roth, who played Mr. Orange in that film. And you can tell he understood it as well. They asked him, what did you think of your fellow actors? He said, to work with Harvey Keitel, I've seen his acting for years. And to get a chance to do so many scenes with him was just the coolest thing ever. He's unflappable as an actor. You do improvisation and he just rolls with it. You stick hardcore to the script, so will he. He takes whatever you're doing and does. He goes, what about Michael Madsen? And he goes, you mean the guy that could be arrested for loitering on a set? Ouch!
That's just mean, yo.
Like, god damn, I usually don't hear artists talk about each other that way. That was just like, shit, Tim. So hey, Queer Spider-Man, right?
Yeah, we're doing this.
Yeah, we're gonna do it. See, it's CBR, unsurprisingly, talking again about Queer Spider-Man because Tom Holland was asked by some moron during the press junket for Spider-Man Far From Good And I said, would you have a problem with a trans Spider-Man? No, of course not. Would you have a problem with a queer Spider-Man? No, of course not. Headline the next day. Tom Holland is in favor of queer trans boy Spider-Man. They all asked us.
Not having a problem and being okay with are not, and wanting are two entirely different things.
Not these days.
Okay, let's read it. Because it's, two Spider-Man actors endorse a queer Peter Parker, so why not? Did they actually endorse it, or are you reading into it? But this is a CBR exclusive, so they probably interviewed one of the actors.
Right, yeah, no. They're probably just responding to a tweet.
Dude, they don't even need to do that. It's CBR, man. And anything that they wrote that isn't cut and pasted from somewhere else counts as an exclusive to them. This fucking garbage to your site.
That's right. And this one's an exclusive.
So let's find out. The lig butt side of comic fandom has been making more and more of a push for increased representation. That's the angry 4% of Twitter that we keep talking about. The pox, the leg butts, the white people filled with liberal guilt, all of them. That's who makes up the 4%. So anyway, while mainstream superhero media has been slow to respond to this effort from a small group of malcontents who are angry with their life and try and take it out on others, two actors famous for playing Spider-Man have not only responded to, but even seemed interested in adding to that push themselves. Liar. You're a liar. I can't wait for your lack of evidence to support that. Seemed interested. Okay. Tom Holland and Andrew Garfield have both discussed the possibility of playing a queer Spider-Man. In the promotional tour for Spider-Man Far From Good, Holland expressed open interest in playing a gay Spider-Man. Garfield brought up the issue multiple times, openly pondering the possibilities of making Peter Parker bisexual. I don't believe that for a second. I just don't. I think somebody else brought it up, and then you felt obligated to say, yeah, why not? So you wouldn't look like a homophobe or a transphobe. Notice that they're making it about, by the way, gay, because they wanted to write this article. They also asked Tom Holland about a trans Spider-Man, and that's why we read the article, Trans Boy Spider-Man. He was saying yes to everything because you don't want to get called an isterophobe when you're promoting a film.
Yeah.
Right?
Of course.
When Stan Lee heard about Garfield's initial comments, he responded with a joke that could be construed as being in poor taste. Quote, he's becoming bisexual? Who have you been talking to? Seriously, I don't know anything about that. And if it's true, I'm going to have to make a couple phone calls. I figure one sex is enough for anybody. Stanley,
becoming bisexual. Who have you been talking to?
You are greatly missed, sir.
Yes.
It's you are greatly missed, sir. Garfield addressed this backlash to his comment from the angry 4% of Twitter, in which he proposed a potential romance between himself and a male MJ played specifically by Michael B. Jordan. Don't you get the joke? Michael B. Jordan, MJ.
Yeah, well,
he's riffing off of it. He's just trying to get out of hot water with the 4% of Twitter.
Anyway. Now to be fair, once again they turned a redhead into a black person.
Yeah.
Yep. Like
can't even stop it in these ridiculous hypotheticals.
Anyway, listen, what I said in that Entertainment Weekly interview was a question. It was just a simple philosophical question about gender, sexual orientation, about prejudice. I obviously long for a time where sexual orientation, skin color, is a small thread in the fabric of a human being. We all do, Andrew. We all do. And all men are created equal. And woman as well. See? That's somebody who is trying to get out of hot water. They know they're in trouble with the angry 4% who have nothing to do all day but cast this bullshit at people that they think are fresh targets, the enemies of lig butts and bitpox and so forth, and the whammons. These statements were made back in 2013, and the world.
This paragraph right here, man, just validates everything you said.
Okay. To speak to the idea of me and Michael B. Jordan getting together, it was tongue-in-cheek. Absolutely tongue-in-cheek. So was that statement. Get it?
Yeah.
It would be illogical for me in the third movie to be like, you know what? I'm kind of attracted to guys. That's just not going to work. That's clear. Kind of like Iceman suddenly becoming gay after decades of being a girl chaser and being infamously unable to maintain a relationship with a woman. That's why he's always jumping from woman to woman. He's an infamous, not womanizer, but what would you call him? Serial single guy?
Womanizer.
Slanderer.
Oh, okay.
Womanizer works.
Okay, womanizer. That's who Bobby Drake always was. He's big man on campus. He's supposed to have super swagger, be all handsome. Girls love this guy. That's who, and all of a sudden one day he's like, oh, Dark Phoenix is right. I am gay because she read my mind. And all of a sudden he's the gayest guy to ever gay in a lig butt. I
think that's the quote of the stream. The gayest guy to ever gay in a lig butt.
Okay, hold on. These statements were made back in 2013, and the world is in a very different place right now. Yes, social media has really scared a lot of people into agreeing with them.
Mm-hmm.
But debates like these are still raging on because lots of people have nothing better to do all day. Beyond homophobia, is there any good reason why Spider-Man can't be any sexual orientation other than straight?
Right there.
Yes, I have stopped beating my wife.
That sentence right there just validates everything that we've been saying.
Beyond homophobia, is there any good reason? Yes. And Andrew Garfield just said it would be illogical for me in the third movie to be, you know what? I'm kind of attracted to guys. Yeah, it's illogical and unreasonable and violates a basic premise of an established character. You want to make a gay character? Go the fuck ahead. You want to turn a straight character gay? Why would you want to do that? Is there any other explanation other than replacement theory that could explain it?
Well, they even come right out and accuse you right there. Beyond homophobia. Is there any good reason why he can't be gay? You fucking homophobe? Fuck you, CBR.
The most obvious answer is that Peter Parker is already firmly established as being attracted to women and women only. So he can't possibly change a key aspect of himself that's never been called into question before, except that isn't true. Many people might not realize they're attracted to people of the same gender until years down the road.
What?
What did you just say? Many people might not realize it, might not be able to come out with it, might not be comfortable with their thoughts of being attracted, might repress it amongst themselves, but they're not even aware of it. So there's secret gays everywhere, guys. CBR told us so.
That sounds a lot like conversion therapy to me.
Well, yeah, where's
you don't know you're straight. We got to re-educate you.
Where's the lightning bolts that are hitting people, turning them gay?
Yeah, he says this can happen for myriad of reasons. But more often than not, because I'm a mind reader, it's because they've been deliberately or unconsciously suppressing the feelings due to a sense of guilt or denial of the truth. I know this because I can read minds and speak on behalf of everybody.
Yeah.
This exact concept played out in the comics not long ago after Garfield and Lee's comments. Iceman of the X-Men, as it turned out, was gay for his entire life. Yeah, it wasn't a weak ass retcon that they then handed over to Cena Grace, a gay writer, because a gay writer can only write gay characters, and gay characters must be written by a gay writer. And the series completely failed. Everybody mocked it. Nobody bought it. So they relaunched it again, Iceman from #1, with Cena Grace writing again, and it's failing again.
Shocker.
Yeah. So even if Peter Parker turned out to be gay or bisexual, this revelation would retroactively alter his history, but not so radically that he'd be unrecognizable.
Yes, he would, because everything that had anything to do with Mary Jane is completely bullshit from that point on. It would ruin the character. These characters have history, and you can't just immediately remove that. And if you do, we're going to call you on your bullshit like we've been doing with Iceman.
Oh, listen to this. This is so revealing, Quiz. You'll get a kick out of this part about replacement theory and conquering nodes of cultural importance. Like, why do these people care? about doing this because they don't read comics. So why do they care about arguing about comics on Twitter and stuff? Because they realize they're cultural icons. If we can turn this character black, turn this character gay, get this character spouting against Trump, we've won something.
Yeah.
And that's the sad, cynical way they approach things. Listen to this. Of all the currently canonical heterosexual superheroes, what makes Spider-Man a more likely candidate to come out of the closet? Note what they said, a more likely character to come out of the closet. Right. Spider-Man is a character of universal appeal. Unlike Batman or Superman, anyone can see themselves as Spider-Man. He's ultimately the underdog, loved and hated, plagued by mundane and serious problems alike, and always down on his luck. He's a character that's best when he's struggling against something. That's why you want him coming out as gay, not why he's likely to come out as gay.
Yeah.
Because of the universal appeal you yourself mentioned. He's a more important cultural icon for you to win.
Yeah.
Because Superman's an alien. Batman's a fucking weirdo. Spider-Man's just a kid from Queens.
Well, Batman is rich. So, they don't want to say it, but that's the only real form of privilege.
Well, he's an evil white guy, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, here's more evidence to, in my opinion, what Garfield was up to back when he was talking about this, when he was in hot water, when it mattered for him, because the series hadn't been rebooted yet back then. Mm-hmm. It was more just a philosophical question. What I believe about Spider-Man is that he does stand for everybody. Black, white, Chinese, Malaysian, gay, straight, lesbian, bisexual, transgender. Dude. Holy fuck. Malaysian? Polynesian,
you're leaving out the Singaporeans. They're going to be pissed and they'll get their canes, man.
He is colorblind. He's blind to sexual orientation. Also, he's pansexual, and that is what he always represented to me. Mr. Garfield, you seem to be making an argument that somebody doesn't need to be the same skin color or sexual orientation as you for you to identify with them. That's very unwoke, sir. We know that young girls can't like any character that isn't a girl. Black people can't like characters that aren't black. They won't identify with them.
I'm with Frosted Glass. What we learned from this is that Zendaya turned Spider-Man gay.
Yeah. You know what's even worse than that? The whole Zendaya thing is popular. I mean,
yeah, she had a strong following on her stupid little TV show.
Well, just a little twist to the blade for Polly. A couple of days ago, I found a shit ton of fan art of the Zendaya Spider-Man Homecoming thing, and I was just posting up on his Discord server. I'm like, twist the blade, but yeah, no, it's awful. It's awful how much there is.
It's awful that this keeps becoming an issue. Not only do we have to deal with Zendaya in the movies, we got to deal with this crap that they're pushing. They're just trying to ham-fistedly force everything to fit their narrative.
And it's like, okay, this I forgot is what because we've read a bunch of different things in the meds and all. This was a CBR exclusive, right? Yeah, it is. Mm-hmm. This is written by Anthony Gramago. Blah blah. Listen to the way he ends it. So, once more, we ask why Spider-Man can't be gay or bisexual. As Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse reminds us, anyone can put on that mask and be Spider-Man. There is no one true Spidey. The only thing that needs to happen for Spider-Man to be queer is for someone to write that story. This is an advocacy piece. This isn't news. What's exclusive? This isn't exclusive. This is a motherfucking blog post.
Yep. Well, I've been saying that these fucking websites are blogs. They're editorials disguised as news, and they're not news. They're editorials. Every single one of them.
Yeah. And can you blame them when, Washington Post and New York Times are more editorial than they are news? I mean, it's like, we call these garbage tier news sites. This is, I don't know, even the supposed top tier news sites, write advocacy pieces and claim that this is news. I mean, like, all someone has to do is write that story. You get the sense of the writer tapping his foot going, come on, Marvel, do it. What the fuck? What are we waiting for?
Like, there's also the bit there saying, like, anyone can put on the mask and become Spider-Man. No, they can't. They need to have these spider powers. And until they started going absolutely ape shit with giving absolutely every single person fucking spider powers, it was only Peter Parker.
Look at you with your pro-spiderist agenda. Have to have spider powers. Oh my god, that's fucking sick.
It's ridiculous. I hate that these sort of articles they're just advocacy pieces. They're blogs that try to whip people into a frenzy to get on social media and bully and pressure these companies into kowtowing to this asinine agenda. And you know, I would be the very first person to laugh at something like the gay agenda. That's fucking stupid. Okay. At the same time, it's, you know, with these sort of people like praising Cena Grace for being so brave to make Iceman gay. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Let's see.
Stunning and brave.
It only works one way for them, and it's stupid.
Look at this. I want to read this guy's Twitter account. Well, I can't. You know why? I'm blocked.
Oh, man, I need to see if I'm blocked.
I follow the bad people on Twitter, so he had to pre-block me.
You monster!
I can't read that Twitter handle. What is it?
Yeah, I'll put it in chat. I'm willing to bet there's a whole bunch of stuff. He got a master's in fine arts and an honorable writing mention from something, whatever. Other than that, it says he posts on Twitter all day. There he is. So chat, if you guys want to go check out what he's, I mean, if you look at this whatchamacallit, avatar.
Do not contact these people.
Yes.
Just laugh at them from a distance.
Yeah. For God's sake, don't contact them. Saying hello, Polly sent me here is a death threat or harassment or verbal violence to these people.
I'm blocked too.
You're blocked too?
I'm not.
Okay, quiz. Let's see the account.
I can't believe I'm not. What the
That's
hell?
weird. We tend to follow the same people up on.
Yeah.
You know, I follow Stan Sakai, and this guy is clearly a hater of Japanese men that live in Hawaii. That's what it is.
See him, Ravenclaw, written Screen Rant CBR, ANFM medium fiction consumer of fiction and coffee, often pisses off alt-right and profile pic credit ball bots.
He, him.
We got
I don't how many followers does he have? Quiz?
3,238.
Nice. Okay. More than I was expecting. All right.
Not followed by anyone I'm following.
No, because we're all blocked.
Well, yeah.
He retweeted Ilhan Omar.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
He retweeted Ilhan Omar?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's everything I was looking for. I was looking for him to say something about Trump, but that's good enough right there. Retweeting Ilhan Omar. So you hate America and you hate Jews, apparently.
I want to thank Grave Gear for photoshopping Silver Surfer pooping in a child's play area.
Oh, God, that happened on Twitter?
Yeah. He tagged all of us in it.
Nice.
Pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Shady's blocked. Shady Grin. Why? Shady didn't do anything to you.
And see, that's the thing. I'm following a lot of the Comics Gate crowd. I follow Ethan. I follow Edwin Boyette.
Yeah. I'm telling you, it's Stan Sakai. He just can't stand. He hates the Japanese men. He claims to love anime, but it's clear that's why he blocked me.
Well, why don't we ask for a bisexual Bucky, gay Falcon, lesbian Captain Marvel, and a in the future maybe transgender Wolverine? I love it. We already have a bisexual Wolverine in another universe where he married Hercules. That happened.
Grave Gear's blocked too. I'm not surprised.
God.
I went to his personal website where I got that's anthonygrammello.com. And it's like, let's just take a look at his articles that he's got posted. Like, these are previous articles that I've written. And it's like, okay. And it's just look at some of them. Would Lig Butt QA characters ruin Star Wars? The myth of force diversity. Are SJWs taking over anime? Why aren't there more Lig Butt QA X-Men? Sailor Moon is the bi icon we need. Are you sensing a fucking pattern?
Yeah.
I'm sensing an agenda.
Yeah. And you went and wrote an article, blog post for CBR, where you're talking about we need a bisexual Spider-Man or gay Spider-Man. Dude, you've got a fucking mission.
Yes.
And this is why you got hired at CBR to write all of these articles. 10 Reasons Venom is becoming a Lig Butt QA film. Dude, what is it with you?
Lig Butt Qua.
Lig Butt Qua. Yes, excuse me.
Lig Butt Qua.
Frosted glass. My dead grandma is blocked. I just mean, like, dude, for real though? Like, you're clearly into capturing cultural nodes. You make it like, he gets into the poker men. Zelthor is going to be disturbed.
And Castlevania. You leave your grumpy ass mitts out of Castlevania.
Can you imagine like somebody with like this much of a mission? I mean, holy shit.
Man. See, that's the thing is, like, like I said before, I would be the first person to scoff and laugh at something like, someone saying something like the gay agenda. But what else am I supposed to think with this guy?
Right? Tell me, like, the myth of force diversity. You should write one about the myth of the gay agenda, because it's clearly not a thing. You obviously don't have one.
How about the myth of heterosexuals in Marvel Comics? There's just fewer and fewer.
Because and nothing is ever enough, as we've talked about. It's like often pisses off the alt-right. Guys, if he were to listen in right now, even before we got onto the subject of him, we would be alt-right.
Oh yeah.
We'd
be
hardcore.
Definitely be alt-right.
Yeah, we'd be tiki torch carriers as far as this guy's concerned.
Yeah.
And so would all of you, chat.
I know Polydub and I didn't vote Trump. And never even would have considered it. Yeah, but we're all right.
But chat, you're all bigots too. Just remember that.
Fucking bigots.
You're sitting here listening to us and you're not telling us off.
Yeah.
And if you're listening in the future, you're not posting angry hate comments below.
Every single one of you should be condemning us to the fiery pits of social justice hell. Otherwise, you are alt-right as well. Welcome to the fold. Here's your tiki torch.
So we were talking about the angry 4% of Twitter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, to quote Jean-Luc Picard, well, there it sits.
There it sits.
Oh, he was talking about Data as a new life form, but whatever, Yeah. Jack and I have whiled away many hours. Have you watched any of the depositions quiz at all?
No.
No?
I have a job, unfortunately.
Well, hey, man, I'm filling out the last parts of a contract, and a lot of my time's spoken for, but...
What's it like being an adult?
I still managed to find the time, damn it.
Where would I find the depositions?
Rick K. the Lost channel.
Okay.
Just everybody in chat's like, yeah, tell us something we don't know. Yeah, we know. It's just...
Yeah, fucking bigots.
Oh, Ryan makes a good point. They called us big guts. That doesn't sound very body friendly.
No,
they're
it's
body
very
shaming my fatness.
Yeah, they're very, very body negative bastards.
So I don't know. It's this is an ongoing saga, and I never understood how my mom, because she loves it when there's a trial, like a celebrity trial. Not so much that the person on trial is a celebrity, but there's much fanfare around it, high notoriety. You know what I mean? So what's that woman, the evil woman that killed her kid and then pretended that the kid was just missing?
Casey Anthony?
Casey Anthony. Thank you, Jack.
I saw her once.
Really?
Yeah, right after the trial.
Does she look like as much of a miserable fucking child murderer as she comes across as?
Well, she was kind of cute actually, but in that like I will stab you during sex sort of way.
I think we just found out Jack's type. Just
No, my type is Asian. Sorry, we all know that. That's very well established. But I didn't find her as repulsive as she looked on TV. But yeah, she definitely had an air of instability there.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's like those sort of trials. My mom digs following them in detail, and like I keep telling her, like, Mom, you can't like keep just because I know, but once you're in it, like it just makes me angry now. I just sit there and see her lying on the stand every day, and Jesse Green brought up OJ. Oh my God, my mom could cite the OJ murder trial by chapter and verse. It's a little frightening, but I've become very much interested in this ongoing trial. Frankly, the trial between Mark Wade and Richard Meyer is of far more consequence to me.
Yes.
Like, well, not consequence to me, but of interest to me, you know, because it's of much more interest to comics. I don't believe that the Me Too crowd is even aware that the KickVic, I Stand With Vic business is that Weeb Wars is happening. I don't think that it's going to have a terrible effect. I think this is about fixing Vic Mignogna's very much damaged reputation.
Yeah.
That's that. And that's a good thing. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that it's meaningless. It's just, whereas Mark Wade in the comic book industry is an extremely well-known guy in the industry, amongst fans, amongst pros, and he's a huge virtue signaler on Twitter. We all know that. And he went after one of the big guys in Comicsgate, one of the original guys in Comicsgate, by calling him everything under the sun, a transphobe, a homophobe. Remember the things that the strong need to stand up for the poor, or the weak, rather.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
used weak.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I mean, realize what he meant by that. If you're a black person, you're a brown person, you're a person of color, as he would say, you know, you're weak in his mind. And the fat old man who looks like a baby, balding old weirdo, uses you as a shield on a daily basis. You're weak and he's strong and he needs to stand up for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's so infantilizing. And trans as well, and women he was referring to as well. It was women, pox, lig butts, the whole 9 yards, and trans people need his help. And yeah, he got what was coming to him. So he's in the middle of a case, and I hope that there's enough punitive action against him that I don't think it will, but I hope that it sends a signal to pros on Twitter. You can't just call anybody you want a transphobe or a white nationalist without consequences.
Yeah.
I don't know. So Jack, where have you stopped in the testimonials? I keep wanting to call them that.
I'm caught up in the depositions. Yeah.
So have I. I'm surprised. It's, for those of you who don't know, Nick Ricada's channel, Lost-Splaining the Interwebs, he's been covering them in detail. I've heard some odd complaints as of last night. Did you hear the amount of times that Nick said, I'm going to keep pausing it because people tell me not to, and they tell me they hate that? I'm loving his commentary and riffs. What do you mean?
Well, I get what they're saying because they want to watch it straight through, but that he can't do that and make it fair use.
Yes. Well, does somebody have copyright ownership of?
It's possible, because if these aren't fully public record yet, which they might not be, then it would be considered copyright to whoever videotaped it, which would probably be the clerk of courts.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, the lady who's on screen right now is none other than Monica Rial, who is a longtime voice actress for many, 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 many animes, but probably most popularly plays who in Dragon Ball? Bulma in Dragon Ball. And she accused fellow voice actor Vic Mignogna, who's the voice of Broly, amongst many, 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 many other characters from Full Metal Alchemist, I think is where his fandom really started.
Yeah,
collecting around him.
Ed in Full Metal Alchemist, yeah. The main character.
And he, for me, is like, how I know of him is he plays Captain Kirk in the fan series or passion project series Star Trek Continues. He also executive produced it and wrote 2/3 of the episodes, and it's great. I loved it. So that's why there's my involvement in it as a fan. I don't know. Jack, where are you? Like, I mean, the story that bounding into comics is Dragon Ball Super Broly, because Dragon Ball Super is a TV series and Super Broly is the feature film, right?
Dragon Ball Super Broly.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't
Dragon
watch
Ball,
cartoons.
full stop. Super Broly. It's Monica Rial's initial story remains consistent, is the headline.
That's not Goth Rachel Maddow Frosted. That's Monica Rial. You can tell because she's fatter.
She does not come across as a particularly trustworthy person, and if clips of this are in fact used during the trial, which there's every reason to expect that they would be if people's best guesses are accurate, that's she does not come across as someone who's particularly straightforward, where I think Vic does much more so. Except for that point. Did you find it odd when Vic got choked up talking about how successful Super Broly was?
No.
Shut up, Quist.
I didn't find it odd at all because he was talking about how he was defamed on what should have been the best day of his life. That was the biggest production he'd ever done up to that point.
Yeah, good point.
It was a feature film, and it was getting accolades, and then they come out with these lies, which is what they look like they are, in my opinion. And it effectively put a big, big damper on everything that he worked for his entire career up to that point.
Yeah, because they immediately come and they dogpile on him immediately after Dragon Ball Super Broly like comes out and has this monumental success.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you know, why now? And it's the sort of thing.
That's a fair point. I didn't stop to think that, like, did I find it weird? It's there was numerous like hard moments for Vic Mignogna talking about, like, meaning like raw questions on raw events, you know, where it's Jesus Christ, I never want to be deposed, you know.
Yeah.
that I can understand anybody, man, woman, young, old, whatever the fuck, breaking down because you're being asked for in a room full of like suited, judgmental professionals about some exceptionally personal things that a whole lot of it ain't got nothing to do with nothing, and you know it, and you're legally obligated to respond, you know.
They asked him about his sex life. They asked him about, has he ever been with an escort? I mean, they asked him really deep personal questions and asked him why he thought that he was being targeted, like why he considers this targeted, that sort of thing. Stuff that, you know, would really kind of piss you off a little bit. Personal nonsense. And asked him about his mom being on the fan page, stuff like that. And of course he's going to get upset. And he held it together way better than I would have. But,
Oh yeah. Yes, he did. He's I would have gotten angry at multiple points, and he didn't. And it was, you have to look to see the anger showing through. Whereas, you know, Ron Soy, Jesus Christ,
that dude is so passive aggressive.
Like, everyone was calling him a weasel, and then I started to feel bad about that because, like, weasels are cute. Like, their whiskers are awesome. That's an insult to weasels to call that guy a weasel.
Nope. I said it on Monkey in the Morning. I'll say it here. He looks like the snake from the animated Robin Hood movie, the King John character, with a Groucho glasses and a fake beard.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. Hey, chat, for those of you who don't know what he looks like, have you ever seen one of those people that have no jawline and no chin whatsoever, so they grow a beard to make it look like they do? That's Ron Soy, man. God, Jack, that detail blew my mind. He, after his deposition the first day, shows up the next day wearing a wife beater, showing off his arm tattoos. What? Why?
Well, he's hard. You know, he reminds me of I'd referenced Napoleon Dynamite earlier with Vote for Pedro, but he reminds me of the Napoleon Dynamite's brother with the thin pencil mustache.
Yeah.
Doing his sweet, sweet karate moves. That's who he reminds me of. Like, he, in his mind, he is a badass ninja master commando or something, but then the reality is somewhat more weird.
I do have to give him credit. He is able to very much not look like himself in his Twitter icon. Do you know what I mean? It's a good picture for a wormy little fucker. here.
Yeah, Ryan's right. They probably were temporary tattoos.
Right?
They're like Super Mario.
Are those like fake sleeves, like the nylon sleeves you put on over your arms?
No, I bet they
there's
were
the
like
little bastard. That actually makes it look like he has a chin. You got to see it when he looks straight forward. It's
haunting. No, I bet they were more like Cracker Jack ones, Quiz. He was saving them up for a special occasion.
Oh, got it.
Can you imagine that? Like, I mean, this is what he looked like for his own deposition. The next day in a room where everyone is like, you're dressed nicely. They're professionals, the stenographer, the attorneys, everybody, right? So he dresses like this, right? Because you're being deposed. Can you imagine this fucking guy walked in 24 hours later wearing a fucking wife beater showing off his arm tattoos. And people are like, you know, postulating, speculating as to like, who were you trying to intimidate, Ron?
Well, I mean, if I had been, because this was at a courthouse where they did this, if I was passing down the hallway and I saw that dude, I'd be like, oh, that dude drives an ice cream truck and probably murdered 7 children.
Bailiff.
Yeah, hey, that's the guy right there. I don't know what, but he did it, and it's probably perverted.
So, speaking of at least something a little uplifting on Twitter, how about this little shared image from San Diego Comic-Con?
Is that oh wait a minute, that's Todd McFarlane and what's his name?
Jim Lee.
Mm-hmm. It's Todd McFarlane and Jim Lee.
Wow.
And what's his name?
Yeah, and what's his
Sorry,
name?
the name slipped, but fuck off. Oh, and by the way, Quiz, don't think I didn't notice that, because I'm sure chat picked up on it too.
What?
I had long suspected it was only my pronunciations that you were correcting.
What?
I heard the way Jack pronounced accolades. I wasn't even close to right.
What? Accolades?
That's not what you said.
Well, I got a cold. I don't know.
Oh, he's got a cold. I'm on 3 different medications. That doesn't. Quiz is not going to like. What say that again, Polly? The giddiness and glee he has when I mispronounce something, like so much as a pause in the middle of Dragon Ball Super Broly brings him to hysterics. See,
okay. Polly.
See, I long suspected
Dragon Ball Super Broly. It's not Dragon Ball Super Broly.
See, I had long suspected I was the undeserved target of this man's grammar wrath. You can go back.
Prospero.
Hey, Prospero. I didn't even notice you were here before now. Have a good night. Well, actually, that reminds. What's it?
6 minutes is leaving too.
Oh, 6 is out too. Oh, well. See you later, 6. Thanks for coming. On that note, I will remind all of you that are here, if you haven't already, please hit that like button. It absolutely does help. And if you are so inclined, by all means, share it on Twitter. If you're listening in the future, please feel free to leave a comment below. We get a chance to read them all and respond to most of them.
Yeah.
The time is running a little long, though. I think it's time we move on to pitches and get the hell out of here. What do you say?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Who's ready?
I suppose I am.
Well, I'm ready. If you guys want me to go first, I can.
I can't screen share, so I'm ready whenever.
Okay, well, Quiz, you go first, and I'll go grab Jack's stuff and things.
All right. Well, and I pitched this one as celebration here. Written by Dan Abnett and Ian Eddington, illustrated by Louis Antonio, and colored by J.M. Ringuet. My pitch is Warhammer 40k Damnation Crusade. This is a story of a Black Templar Space Marine coming to his own from being a novitiate and fighting in the gladiatorial arenas, and then eventually being recruited into the Black Templars. And you can see here the sort of size difference of a gladiatorial soldier versus a Space Marine. And I don't know, it's a really cool read. It delves into a whole bunch of different enemies of the Imperium, including here you got the Necrons, and it tells the story of the recruit coming from his gladiatorial upbringing to a novitiate to a sword brother, and then to eventually to a dreadnought, and his second death and becoming a dreadnought. It's a really good story, and it's written by Dan Abnett, and he was the guy that wrote the books that is going to hopefully become a decent TV show. I still have hope. Don't dash my dreams. And yeah.
Don't dash my dreams.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know. I think I've grown some kind of like feelings armor with all of this stuff that's been happening in comic books. I can kind of I really want that Usagi Yojimbo series to be awesome, but I'm ready for it to be just Thundercats Roar, you know. It's all right. Jack, are you ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right.
I am pitching the greatest crossover no one ever imagined: Transformers Ghostbusters.
What?
Yes, issue 2 hit the stands today, which is why I'm mad I didn't get to go to. I loved this book. I thought it was going to be ridiculous. And I don't much care for the way they draw the Ghostbusters, but the Transformers looked good. Effectively, what happened was when the Autobots fled Cybertron,
I just love the pointy-headed Ghostbusters.
yeah, that's Ray.
I was gonna say
Ray.
that's definitely Dan Aykroyd. Yeah.
When the Autobots left Cybertron, somebody showed up shortly thereafter, and who would that be but the Traveler, Gozer the Gozerian.
Oh, okay.
So things went south for Cybertron pretty quick. So the Autobots end up following a distress signal to Earth, where it's supposed to be a Transformer distress signal, and they meet the Ghostbusters. And that's effectively the majority of the first issue. It's set up. Super excited to pick up issue 2. It was so much fun. It's not very often that you get to kind of relive that childhood excitement of like, oh, this is a cool crossover.
Right.
And who would have thought Ghostbusters and Transformers? So I thought it was a hilarious issue. Like, you'll get used to the art style for the people, but it's consistent. It's well done for its style. I thought it was a blast. I'm super excited to read issue 2. I haven't been that excited in a long time.
How many issues is this going to run?
I don't know. I think 6, but I'm
Okay.
not positive. It might just be a 4 issue. IDW is real weird. They don't really. They have a lot of flexible sizes on their miniseries, so it's probably going to be between 4 and 6.
Huh. Cool.
But I thought it was a lot of fun just because it's 2 great franchises meeting, and it's done well.
I end up reading stuff that's just plain fun, like, along these lines, more and more, because superhero comics and noir detective comics are where my heart's at, but it's all become so bad that I just end up like, I'm not having fun because the superhero comics have become so awful that, like, okay, I'll find fun in stuff like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but if you're new to comics, this is a good all ages book. There's nothing inappropriate for younger readers, and older readers can enjoy it and get some nostalgia out of it. But even if you don't really know much about the franchises, it doesn't really matter. It was just a nice all-around entertaining book, and that's what I liked about it.
All right, I am going to pitch this and mark it on your calendars. Polly's going to pitch a manga.
Weird. I don't know what to say to that.
Well, it's probably a pretty unsurprising manga if you think about it for a second. Ghost in the Shell. This came up. It's something I've wanted to read for a while and kept putting it the fuck off forever and a day. I eventually went and got it, the original 1989 manga for Ghost in the Shell. I wanted to see what it was like.
And how different did you find it? Because it's Masamune Shiro and all sorts of other things.
It didn't have as much full frontal nudity as I was hoping.
Yes, it doesn't, because it's entirely different from every other version of Ghost in the Shell.
Well, there is significant nudity in it. That's in later editions of it, written by Masune, whatever.
That's a Mune Shiro.
No, Ryan, we will not be covering My Hero Academia. I dig cyberpunk stuff, and I'm a big fan of the Ghost in the Shell concept. And
Did you check out Bubblegum Crisis?
Evolve it. Yes, Polly, fall into the weeb. Well, I don't know. I hope that nobody is going to take any offense here who tends towards the weeb side of things, but I read it and I enjoyed it. I'm not exactly sure what the fuck's going on with the copy that I got, but whatever, it's fine. And I grabbed a number of other things too. Hold on, what are they called? Let me just go look. Give me a second. Talk amongst yourselves. It'll be fine.
Look, Lucky Pop-Tart said, one of us.
Well,
to which I had Gooble Gobble.
Like,
we accept her.
Like, there's 1989 Ghost in the Shell, which they just end up, I guess the fans call Ghost in the Shell 1.0 because of the whole like second gig thing with the standalone complex series, Yeah. And then the 2002 Ghost in the Shell 2, the man-machine interface, which is known as Ghost in the Shell 2.0. And then Ghost in the Shell 1.5, which is 2003 for human error processor. And then there's the series, which is that started in 2011, which is the standalone complex series. Okay. So should you read it? Yes. If you're already a fan of manga and you haven't read this, it's an absolutely classic one. And even I know about it and I'm not a fucking weeb. So yeah, it's absolutely enjoyable, but I do have to say this, and I grabbed some pages out of it individually. I absolutely did not expect it to be so anime-esque.
Oh yeah.
This is, I just was not expecting to see the major like this. And I don't know why. It's a manga. What the fuck? But nonetheless, I was a little amazed to even see anime face.
Oh yeah. See, that's the
full-on anime face.
That's the major difference between the manga and the anime. The anime, or at least the movie, they tried to make it extremely super serious. Whereas this is a long form story that doesn't have a story to be told in an hour and a half. So they can sit there and meander and try to develop the characters and make them silly and have comic relief.
It's interesting how the major is, she has the same personality traits in terms of like the seriousness and the, so I don't want to like spoil it. Basically, there's like the movie itself, if you have seen that, it's a literal brain inside of an android body. They don't get into it that far in the comic. It's more of her personality layer. There's a lot of really great tech jargon that exists only in this world, in the same way that Star Trek has technobabble, technology that only exists in that universe that they constantly reference, like warp drives and impulse engines and so forth. This manga is just ripped full of creative ideas. It's great world building in this manga. I really dug it for that. A whole world of corporate espionage of this company versus that company and different things and the things that they can do to humans. When I opened the first page and I looked at it, I'm looking at this, I'm like, oh man, Neo Tokyo, this is awesome. Look at that. That's cyberpunk as fuck. And oh, what's this? What's going on? Part 1, prologue. And it's like, wait a minute. Oh, hold on. No, it's a manga.
Yeah.
The art style is so manga-esque. I fell into it though. Became accustomed to the art style really quickly. If you haven't read this and you're this, I can legitimately say, is the first manga I've ever read. Never read one before. Yeah. I've leafed, perused, read 20 pages of one, that kind of thing. And it's happened again and again and again. But in terms of sat down cover to cover, read the whole thing, this is the first one I've ever done that with.
And read Berserk. You'll be disappointed because there's no ending, but yeah.
Well, I will say that no matter what you mention in a manga, what immediately follows is a bunch of weebs telling you what you should read.
Yeah.
Satanic cultist is you should try Battle Angel Alita, and it's you should try. I don't know if you're a weeb or not, man, but it's funny that it came out
anyone that has any sort of passing knowledge about it, they know what they like, and so they want to introduce like this. I think a holdover for the mentality of back in the 80s and 90s. the only real way you could get exposure to new animu would be to have people recommend them to you, and then have some way of offering some way to see it too, because the only ways to really see it is like either bootleg VHS copies or really low quality 200p fucking DivX rips. And it was horrible. But the way that a lot of that spread was by word of mouth.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, the protagonist, like the main character, is Major Motoko. How do you say her last name?
Kusanagi.
Yeah. She is, the idea of like their ghost is what they refer to it as, the person inside the machine. And yes, there's those elements of like, what does it mean to be human? She thinks she still is human, but she's largely an android, but has a ghost that can't be touched that animates the machine. It's really much more of an espionage thriller in a cyber noir context. That's the way I would describe it. And that's really of interest to me. I dug it. I dug it a lot. I would definitely recommend it to anybody who, like, I don't know, Polly, you've read a manga and that's your first one. Did you like it? Yes, I did. Yes, I did very much, because I'm a sucker for mild cyberpunk. When it gets into heavy duty cyberpunk, shit starts to get a little weird, and this is what I would call like high magic and low magic, that difference. I would call this low cyberpunk. Like, there's technical aspects and there's androids and there's a whole cyber universe that people can inhabit, but the world is still the world, if you know what I mean. It's still, people still go to work, people still have jobs.
This is the beginning of the spiral down. Next, he'll be buying statues and wall scrolls and talking about learning Japanese so he can get the pure form of the animes.
So are you trying to tell me you wouldn't approve of my Major Motoko body pillow waifu?
I don't have I don't have a body pillow, but I definitely do have a figure of Motoko Kusanagi. This is, like I said, man, I'm a reformed weeb. If I were, it was back in 2000, I would have been all about this shit, but
Well, we'll see. I don't know if I'm in I've got a lot more Ghost in the Shell to read, and I have most of Standalone Complex to watch. So yeah, I'll be going along with. Oh, one thing I did notice before we get going here, I am kind of pleased in an odd way to see that manga have fallen to the same trap as Western comics in terms of decompressed storytelling. When you look at this 1989 comic, like the original Ghost in the Shell, it's dense. The storytelling is dense. Every page has words on it. Multiple panels, different looking panels on every page. Splash pages are rare. There has to be a hell of a lot going on the page. The new Standalone Complexes, I was looking at them, that started in 2011. Holy shit. It's 1/10 the story happens in the issue. You'll go by splash pages every third page. 10% of the words on every page, completely decompressed, just like Western superhero comics. And I don't know why I'm happy about that, because I don't like that. You're getting less bang for your buck that way. You'll read an issue and think, wow, nothing really happened. Like, not that much happened.
Yeah, but manga, you got to remember, come out in volumes, not issues.
Yeah, but that just means that it took me a while to read this, like a good fucking while, because there's a lot going on and there's a lot of art to look at and there's a lot of words to read and contemplate and different panels you look at several times and so forth. Whereas like a decompressed superhero comic or the new Standalone Complex Ghost in the Shells, dude, you can just fly right through the fucking thing. Anyway, just we've all doing it. Every comic book genre is going to hell. All right, so that brings it to a close, and not too late, guys. I am so woozy that I'm having a hard time sitting up, so it's definitely time to get going. For those of you who haven't already, please on your way out, like the stream and share it on Twitter if you're so inclined. If you're listening in the future, please feel free to leave a comment. We love reading them and get a chance to respond to most of them.
Oh yeah.
So if you guys don't have any final words, do you?
I have a parting thought. Next week is the release date for Archie vs. Predator 2 issue 1.
Ooh.
And if you're a Trump fan, Trump Punch Man one shot from Antarctic Press.
Huh.
I'm gonna definitely have to get the Archie versus Predator 2. I like the first one. Are they gonna leave the same canon? Like, because
Yes.
all of the Riverdale characters are dead by the end of that comic.
I know Archie and one of the others is still alive in it.
No, Archie dies, but what they
No,
do
in this one, Archie vs. Predator 2.
Well, okay, well, Archie's dead in
I
the.
don't know, dude. I haven't read it yet. It's
But
just come out on Wednesday.
But Betty and Veronica turn the Predator into the new Archie. That's what happens.
Well, it's references something about that, so that must be what's going on.
Okay.
They said it's this direct sequel, so.
Okay.
Are these your parting thoughts?
Yes.
You wanted to argue?
He's letting me know about a comic series I really enjoyed. Shush.
Just let it happen.
Just let it happen.
Yes. All right, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for coming. See you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.